best conversations happen with a cigar in one hand and a fine drink in the other. Join Dennis Prager live in Chicago for Cigar Night, presented by Precision Payroll of America on Thursday, August 11th at the Bolingbrook Golf Club. Dennis will be joined by AM 560's Dan Proft for an evening of cigar smoking and good conversation. Tickets start at just $29 and include a cigar. Get your tickets at 560theanswer.com/cigar. Sponsored by Signature Bank and the Elmhurst Cigar House.
Not available in all states.
Whoa, what do you have there?
It's a Reese and Irvy's frozen yogurt. We just had our robot make one.
A robot made your frozen yogurt?
Yes, the world's first fully interactive robot vending machine that serves 9 flavors of delicious yogurt with 6 amazing toppings. And it's available for an exclusive franchise opportunity.
How do I get my own Reese and Irvy's robots?
It's easy, but you better act now. Locations and machines are going fast. Just go to froyofranchising.com. That's froyofranchising.com. Check it out now, froyofranchising.com.
Mike Rowe here with a quick IAQ test from my buddy Bill.
Wait, I didn't study.
IAQ stands for Indoor Air Quality, something 1 hour excels at.
Well, I aced my SATs, so...
Yes or no? Do you breathe inside your home?
Yeah.
And what do you breathe?
Air.
And what's in that air?
Air?
Sorry, we were looking for dust mites, household pollutants, even formaldehyde.
Wait, I need to move.
Or you could call 1 hour and improve your IAQ.
That sounds smarter.
Let's see how you do with the disclaimer.
Each independent franchise is licensed in its respective state or county.
Not bad.
Our time is 5:06. Let's get an update on the roads in our Guardian Security Services Traffic Center and the very latest this morning with Jim Talamonte. Good morning, Jim.
Good morning, Mike. Northwest side of Chicago, there's a crash. Peterson and Pulaski. Lombard starting today. You'll have road work. The intersection of Roosevelt and Finland, which is water main work, has been going on for most of the rest of the year. The Edens is all clear right now. The Kennedy looks good. Inbound, everything is reopened at the Burns Circle after some overnight construction. The Eisenhower's fine, so is the Stevenson. No problems to report on the Ryan. Their expressways look good. The Adams Tollway has some westbound work again today, starting at Roselle Road in the right lane, scheduled till 2 p.m. Traffic is a service of Oscar Mayer beef hot dogs. When you think back to your favorite foods growing up, hot dogs are always on the list, especially Oscar Mayer hot dogs. As you get older, you want to start eating more like a grown-up. That's why Oscar Mayer Jumbo Beef Hot Dogs, made with a great grown-up taste of 100% Angus beef. So enjoy a childhood favorite, all grown up. Traffic answers when you need them most. Jim Talamonte on AM 560, The Answer.
Jim, thank you. Chicago's Morning Answers starts next. Your official Chicagoland weather forecast from the aircomfort.com Weather Center, providing the right climate for business. Since 1935, here's meteorologist Kevin Snyder.
Today, mostly sunny, warm, and less humid. High 89. Tonight, partly cloudy, low 61. Cooler tomorrow with sunshine and patchy clouds. High of 72. I'm Kevin Snyder on AM 560, The Answer.
Sorry about this. White Sox were 5-2 winners, not 3-2 winners. Apologize. 73 now at O'Hare. Next news coming up at 5:30, and Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy starts now on AM 560, The Answer.
This hourly segment is brought to you by In the Know with Wealth Management Group, hosted by Craig Bolanos. Heard Sunday mornings at 10.
This is Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan Proft and Amy Jacobson on AM 560. The Answer.
Good morning, Dan and Amy. So did you watch the season finale of Game of Thrones?
Oh, I missed this season.
Mike Scott, you watch Game of Thrones, don't you?
Off and on, but yes, I enjoy it.
Did you see the season finale?
I did not.
All right.
Did you watch any from season 6?
Yes.
Is that what we're on? We're on
Yeah.
6.
Season 6.
Yeah.
Is it good? Huh?
Yeah.
I wish you two wouldn't have lives and you'd catch up on Game of Thrones like me.
I'm sorry. 4 children get in the way of Game of Thrones.
Exactly.
And my 18.
Well, you've got your priorities all messed up. That's the problem.
Yes.
Right.
Okay.
And I have 18 kids who live in a shoe. So.
Right. And 42 cats.
Wow.
Yeah.
You've added 6 over the weekend.
Yeah.
Wow.
I'm growing. Yeah.
So there
growing
was
family.
There was.
So what happened?
Well, I'm not gonna. It's 5 a.m. the day after, so I'm not gonna spoil it for people who haven't watched it yet. But I'm just gonna. There's just one line, and it doesn't really spoil anything because you already knew this about Cersei. Cersei is the.
Oh, I love Cersei. Did I go to prom with Cersei?
Don't love her too much.
Yes,
Oh,
right,
is it a
exactly.
girl?
She'll reciprocate.
Okay. Did I go to prom with Cersei?
No.
Well, you never know. Lost track.
My real name's Larry. I had to change up.
So Cersei's the queen, and the really the queen bee, more than the queen.
Yeah.
And the mother of the matriarch now of the Lannister family.
Okay.
All right.
And is the Lannister family good or bad?
They're bad.
All right.
Yeah. But there's this scene where she's explaining to someone why she does what she does. And she says, essentially, this is not verbatim, but I kill because it makes me feel good. I have carnal relations with my brother because it makes me feel good. Everything I do is because it makes me feel good. Oh. And I listened to that and I said, this is supposed to take place in the Middle Ages.
Uh-huh.
She is a politician for the modern era. She is the ultimate sentimental barbarian.
She's a Chicago politician.
And she is the most Machiavellian, despicable character in the show.
But there's something about her you like or respect?
No.
No.
No. There's not a thing redeeming about her at all.
No.
She doesn't have a softer side?
No. I do what I do because it makes me feel good. It's not just a commentary on our politics, it's a commentary on our culture. And so when you watch Game of Thrones, all you Game of Thrones acolytes, you think about our culture and our politics. Just think about that. Think maybe R.R. Martin is trying to tell us something. I know there's some things in the show that are politically correct, but not very many. And it's quite a brutal show, as was The Age, as is this age, as it turns out. And just maybe he's trying to tell us something. The most despicable, the most amoral character in the show does everything she does because it makes her feel good.
And you didn't know this before? This is like an epiphany on her part? She just came forward and said it?
No. It's clear if you watch it, but for her to state it explicitly and frankly proudly is instructive. And it goes to this idea that maybe just doing whatever makes us feel good isn't the path to righteousness or even something resembling civilization. I just thought it was very instructive.
Does this character have God in her life?
No. No. Is there something about what I've said leading up to this?
Class.
Yes, she is. Yes, she's a devout Episcopalian.
Maybe.
From Ravenswood.
Her son has been converted. Tommen, sort of.
Yeah. Well,
I'll try and get God
as
out
I
of this.
said, I don't want
or co-opted, as the case may be.
I don't want to spoil anything for the season finale for you, Mike.
Was this season a better season? Say 4 or 5, they're all good.
When you watch a show, can you really keep track of what happens in a season? You just kind of keep track of the storyline. At least I do. And season 6 was great. The season finale yesterday I thought was outstanding.
Really?
Yeah, it was good.
Are you going to watch it again?
As long as R.R. Martin stays alive to continue writing, I will stay alive to continue watching. I think that's a fair deal.
They have 2 more seasons projected.
Yeah, right. Yeah. But it's starting to, again, not a spoiler alert. It's starting to coalesce. Mm-hmm. It's starting to come into focus. The Game of Thrones for the Iron Throne, as you know, Amy, that controls the 7 kingdoms. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
What's your favorite kingdom?
Yeah.
No, I'm just.
I'm going to stop accepting questions about Game of Thrones from you. No.
Why?
If you did you ever play Dungeons and Dragons?
No. Yeah.
Yeah. See, that's why. That's why.
Okay, so I can't play anymore.
That's right.
No more questions from you, Blondie.
If you haven't put in the work to play Dungeons and Dragons as a young person, then you don't deserve to be part of it. And you're not watching Game of Thrones, then you don't. I know, going to proms, but some of us weren't. Some of us were playing Dungeons and Dragons on prom
the names
night.
Of my 18 children.
Yeah, what's wrong with that?
This is the morning show more Chicago radio listeners are choosing. This is Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560. The Answer.
Today, plenty of sunshine, warm, less humid, a high of 89 degrees. Tonight, partly cloudy, a low of 61. And for your Tuesday, it's going to be cooler, but pleasant with sunshine and patchy clouds, a high only in the low 70s. Let's get the travel times for this Back to Work Monday. Here's Jim Telemonte.
Good morning, Amy. Good morning, Dan. Northwest side of Chicago. There's crash. The intersection of Peterson and Pulaski. The expressways and tollways are looking great right now. Overnight work is cleared on the Kennedy at the Burns Circle. The ramps are open there. Expect some heavy traffic heading to O'Hare this morning, but right now things still look good on the outbound Kennedy and at 190 as well. There's some road work on the westbound Adams Tollway, starting at Roselle Road in the right lane, continuing to Barrington Road, and then again from Higgins to 25. Water main work starts today at Roosevelt and Finley and Lombard. There's already a closure in Naperville of Martin Avenue between Brom and West for the upcoming Rib Fest. Jim Talamonte in the Guardian Security Services Traffic Center.
The stock market may seem like a roller coaster ride, especially right now, but your finances don't have to be. You may be wondering, is there another big correction on the horizon? Is there another country to leave the EU? If so, are you prepared, or are you at the mercy of stockbrokers if it happens? Let Online Trading Academy teach you how to navigate the stock market during these changing times. They offer professional trading and investing education for every skill level. They'll teach you a rules-based strategy, trading on knowledge, not speculation, so you can identify market changes before they happen. Reserve your seat today for a free half-day training course at their state-of-the-art education facility in Lombard. Call 877-OTA-CHIC now. Mention this ad, and Online Trading Academy will send you a free home video study course valued at $247 just for calling. Call now, 877-OTA-CHIC.
I am so glad I did it. I'm just mad at myself for waiting so long. Hi, Amy Jacobson here for CertaPro Painters. You know, our front porch had chipping and peeling. It looked old and run down, but thanks to CertaPro Painters, it looks brand new again. And trust me, my neighbors are happy I did it. And you know, it's not too late to book that painting project. But don't wait. Be sure to get on CertaPro Painters' summer painting schedule today. Call 800-GO-CERTA or visit CertaPro.com. That's Certa with a C. You know, CertaPro Painters will work around your busy schedule to get your home looking picture perfect for all your summer entertaining. That's why CertaPro Painters says we do painting, you do life. Each CertaPro Painters business is independently owned and operated. Whether it's residential or commercial, interior or exterior, it's not too late to get that painting project off your to-do list. Call now, 1-800-GO-CERTA, 1-800-GOCERTA, or visit CertaPro.com today.
AM 560, The Answer.
Hey, before you read about it on Facebook or Twitter, well, hear about it from your friends. Find out what today's big stories really mean with me, Sean Hannity, today at 2, right here on AM 560, The Answer.
Dan and Amy, so Trump supporters, you worried about the recent polling? 312-642-5600, turnkey.pro answer line. 64636DA, turnkey.pro text line. Two new surveys came out over the weekend. I don't obsess about these things, particularly 4.5 months before an election.
Oh, I do. I'm obsessed.
Well, I mean, it's in terms of do they indicate outcome? They're snapshots in time, and there's some volatility, clearly, because the Washington Post ABC poll has Hillary, and again, these polls are national polls, and as we know, presidential elections are state-by-state contests. But the Washington Post ABC has Hillary up 12 points, 51-39.
Yeah, and if you throw in Gary Johnson, third-party candidate, then it goes 50-40.
Right, it's interesting.
So it's one point, Trump up by 1 point.
Yeah, it's interesting that the inclusion of Gary Johnson for the question of how would the libertarian ticket of Johnson and Weld, two substantial guys, frankly, and polling in double figures, how would that impact Hillary versus Trump? Would it pull more from Trump or pull more from Hillary? And it seems, and this also goes to the Real Clear Politics average, too, of the last half a dozen polls, it seems that on margins it pulls a percentage point or two from Hillary, which could be important in some of the swing states. But now contrast that to the Wall Street Journal NBC, which has Hillary leading Trump only by a 46-41 margin, barely outside the margin of error.
Well, there's three things from the first poll, the ABC Washington poll, that are pretty important. They asked questions. 66% of those polled think that Trump is biased against women, minority groups like Muslims, and more people disapprove of his handling about Trump University than they do of Clinton's handling of her emails.
Yeah.
And lastly, 68% say his attacks on that Hispanic judge were racist. So he's not gaining any ground with minority groups and women.
Yeah, he's got a lot of upside, though, where it matters, where there's real opportunity to build. 69% of Republicans who supported another candidate in the primary besides Trump say they now support him. Only 69%. So that means there's some opportunity for him to grow in that universe. And at the end of the day, after you get over your hurt feelings and you, frankly, get over to some extent your distaste for Trump, and you look at the actual matchup, people who lean Republican are more likely to come home than not. And so that gives Trump real opportunity to kind of narrow the gap by just, frankly, consolidating and fully leveraging his base, meaning self-identified Republicans. So that says something. Also, Hillary right now is tied among men with Trump. I don't suspect that holds up.
Really?
The minority numbers, they could hold up.
Yeah, but one thing, Donald Trump, of course, fired off a snarky juvenile tweet that the, ABC poll sample is very heavy on Democrats, very dishonest. Why would they do that? Other polls good.
Other polls good.
Exclamation point. Woo!
Yes.
Yeah, very. But he didn't like the ABC.
It's a great
one,
Arnold
other poll.
Schwarzenegger
So then we can't even
impersonation he's
go
doing.
to the other poll to find out because he didn't tweet about it. But his knee-jerk reaction always.
Yeah. By the way, just as a quick aside, I know you were looking at purchasing half a dozen or so $900 tickets to go see Hamilton when it comes to town.
Right, yeah.
Because you like to do a party, like to do something for your friends for the big shows. Hamilton cast is set to raise funds for Hillary Clinton. The Hillary campaign is hosting a special performance of Hamilton in New York at the Richard Rogers Theater. They're renting out the theater, and they're going to sell the $1,300 tickets. They expect to raise about $3.5 million and split between the DNC and Hillary's campaign. So just so you know,
Yeah,
if you're thinking about spending $900 to put more money in Lynn Miranda's pocket, a portion of that's going to the Hillary Clinton campaign.
Okay, and for $10,000, I can get a premier seat and then meet Hillary Clinton before the show begins.
Yeah.
It's so exciting. So I don't know where to spend my money.
So you buy the 6 tickets for your friends, so that sets you back $5,400,
Yeah.
and then you fly to New York. You buy
Yeah.
the $10,000 VIP treatment to meet with the cackler.
There's got to be a deal on Spirit Airlines. It should be cheap. No problem.
Ed in Oak Brook, you're on Chicago's Morning Answer.
Yeah, I'm listening to you talking about the polls, and I've been getting called a lot for answering polls. And it's not that I'm super busy, but I am kind of busy, so I really don't even have time to answer the polls.
Mm-hmm.
I'm thinking most Democrats that are living off the government have plenty of time to answer polls. So that's why I think these things are not as accurate as people would think. They're answering what the people are questioning them, but I don't think everyone is even answering the polls, is what I'm trying to say.
Yeah, thanks for the call. Look, here's the thing about polling. If it's done right, it's accurate. It's scientific, 95% confidence interval. This whole argument, the people's anecdotal argument, I've never been called by a pollster, therefore the polls are illegitimate, is an illegitimate argument. As somebody who does polling fairly routinely.
You sit on the phone there, do you?
I don't physically do it myself, but
Hello?
I retain pollsters. So I know a little bit about this. Now,
So is Donald Trump right at all saying that the first ABC Washington Post poll was done with was a sample heavy on Democrats?
If they I haven't looked at the methodology. If they oversample Democrats, then yeah, that's a problem. You can skew the results. I mean, if you don't have a representative sample, then that can skew the results, and that certainly happens. In addition to how questions are phrased, that can be leading or less than leading, and so do you get true representations of even a representative sample's opinion on a particular issue? Those are all legitimate questions to ask. But I'm just saying this idea of I'm just going to dismiss polls because sometimes they turn out to be wrong, a month from now or 4 months from now. No, these are snapshots in time. It's just kind of today over the weekend, and there's volatility, and that's reflected. And, of course, we saw the polling going into Brexit last Thursday, and most of the polling had Remain narrowly winning. And as we know, Leave won, frankly, fairly comfortable in an electorate as big as Britain's with 72% turnout. To win by 4 percentage points is actually a pretty substantial win. I wanted to also mention this. This is really an interesting piece about millennial voters, and it kind of speaks to the fact that right now, going back to some numbers, self-identified Bernie supporters, about a quarter, a little less than a quarter, say they're voting for Trump. Millennial voters, and I know all Bernie Sanders weren't millennial supporters. There's a lot of 60s refugees, hippies that supported him as well. And, some other kind of people that were just rejecting Hillary Clinton. I get it. Kind of rank and file Democrats rejecting Hillary. I get that too. But millennials are a part of it, and certainly was the conversation in 2012. And also the conversation was, has Barack Obama, through his support of millennials, turned that generation forever and hopelessly liberal? Well, some interesting analysis by Jason Whedon, a website called pleeps.org. He did some analysis of Pew Research surveys over the last 3 years. And he finds millennials, it's a bit of a mixed bag. They're a bit confused, like much of the rest of the populace. Millennials are more liberal on general ideological measures, but their liberalism is specific. On gays, they're more liberal. Things like same-sex marriage, whether homosexuality should be accepted or discouraged, they tend to be more liberal. In the Middle East, they tend to be more liberal with respect to the use of military force and various conflicts in the Middle East. On immigration, marijuana legalization, environmental regulation, they tend to be more liberal. And general attitudes of the federal government in terms of trust in the federal government, they tend to be more liberal. Now, on the flip side, millennials are only marginally no more liberal than older Americans when it comes to big business, when it comes to support for the poor, when it comes to racial issues, when it comes to gun regulation, and when it comes to abortion rights. So it's not even like their liberalism is economic, or their liberalism, is cultural, and their conservatism or more conservatism is economic. It's really a mixed bag kind of in both categories. I just find it fascinating because it speaks to the idea that they're not pervasively liberal, that they are kind of open for business to be persuaded, and that, frankly, Donald Trump, for all those millennials that provided the real enthusiasm that undergirded the Bernie Sanders campaign, maybe there is a Donald Trump play to be made there, because it turns out on some of those issues where millennials are liberal, so is Donald Trump. And on some of the issues where they're less liberal, so is Donald Trump. So
you know what's happening with my girl Hillary today?
She's waiting for your $10,000 check to see her at Hamilton.
No, she's trying out to one VP nominee. They're taking it for a little spin today in Cincinnati. That would
kicking the tires,
seeing what happened. Elizabeth Warren, Hillary Clinton, coming to a town near you. No, they're going to campaign together in Cincinnati. She's going to be the opening act, and I hear that this is a good sign that maybe they'll be on the ticket together. Clinton-Warren ticket. What do you think of that?
I think that would be a mistake for Hillary, so I hope she makes it. Elizabeth Warren, it's interesting you mentioned Elizabeth Warren.
Yeah.
She posted a recent recent ad for MoveOn.org where she excoriates Trump for being a bad guy and all that stuff. It turns out one of the people that she featured, which is so hackish and typical of Pocahontas, one of the people she featured in her screed on Trump is this biracial family. The biracial family of one Michael Levin. He's married to an Asian woman. And so he features him with his daughter in the ad, except there's a problem.
Here's what we do know. The last time Donald Trump's taxes were made public, it turned out that Donald Trump paid nothing in federal taxes, and he's proud of it. A few weeks ago, he said that he's more than happy to dodge taxes because he doesn't want to throw his money down the drain. Programmers and engineers and small business owners, they pay their fair share.
So when she gets to the fair share argument,
right.
There's these quick cuts of different families. And one family, as I mentioned, is Michael Levin. And he was alerted to his
Did he know?
being featured in this ad, and here's what he had to say.
It was striking. On Monday, I got a text from a friend who said, "Hey, I just saw you in the new Warren video attacking Trump," and I thought, "You've got to be kidding me."
Oh
I watched the video, and to my shock and surprise, there I was. And as you said, I'm not anti-Trump. I actually did vote for him in the Massachusetts primary, and the little girl you saw in that video came with me to the polls with her siblings to watch me vote for him.
Pocahontas.
Oh,
no. Pocahontas' bad habits die hard, truly.
Listen to Dan and Amy on your smartphone. Download the AM560 mobile app today at 560theanswer.com/mobile.
When you hear the word chiller, the first thing that pops into your mind may be a frozen drink from your favorite convenience store. If you run a business or you're a maintenance engineer, you know of a different kind of chiller, the mechanical one that keeps you, your employees, and customers cool in the summer. And with this summer predicted to be hotter than normal, you don't want to get stuck on one of those 90-plus degree days with no AC. Better call Air Comfort and get your chiller tuned up and running at peak performance. A professional inspection can find small problems before they become big problems, and proper maintenance can keep your system from wasting energy and money. Air Comfort will make sure your equipment is clean and obstacle-free. And if your AC is about to or has stopped working, they can install temporary solutions to keep you cool while the long-term fixes are put in place. The key is preventative maintenance, and Air Comfort can help. Schedule a comprehensive assessment of your mechanical system today. Call 708-345-1900 or visit aircomfort.com. Air Comfort, providing the right climate for business since 1935.
Hey, let me get right to the point. Thousands of listeners have bought MyPillows. If you're not one of them, why not? If for no other reason than you haven't changed your pillow in the last couple of years, now would be a great time. Your pillows absorb dead skin, dirt, skin oils, and dust mites that can cause allergies, acne, asthma, and who knows what else. You really deserve a washable MyPillow. It comes with a 10-year warranty, and it's a great health investment. Best of all, I know you'll sleep better. I do. MyPillow is the official pillow of the National Sleep Foundation for good reason. Hey, visit mypillow.com or call 1-800-489-0201. Use that promo code Joe for the 2-for-1 offer. Give one as a gift and keep the other one for you. Do it now. 1-800-489-0201 or online at mypillow.com. Promo code Joe. 1-800-489-0201.
Hey, your kids won't be thinking about school very much this summer, but it's the perfect time for you to think about where you'll be sending your child back to school this fall. More and more parents are thinking about private school, and maybe that's you. Well, private school has never been more affordable thanks to halfpriceschools.com, where you can find tuition vouchers for private schools across the Chicagoland area at half the normal price. There is no catch. It's real simple. Find a school near you, purchase a tuition voucher, and prepare to send your child off to school this fall. Halfpriceschools.com has schools located all across the Chicago area, including LaSalle, Bensonville, Grays Lake, Westchester, Palatine, Chicago, Arlington Heights, just to name a few. But don't delay. Summer won't last forever, and school will be starting again before you know it. Visit halfpriceschools.com today. Many of these vouchers have already sold out, so do not wait. Visit halfpriceschools.com today. That's halfpriceschools.com. Coming up on Chicago's Morning Answer.
At 5:37, the differing reactions from conservative and liberal intellectuals to Brexit.
But first, let's go into the newsroom, and here is Mike Scott.
Amy and Dan, good morning. All eyes on Wall Street after Friday's free fall on the word of Britain's vote to leave the EU. The Dow fell a dizzying 611. Investors, no doubt, hoping for a better narrative today. Senate Majority Leader Mitch McConnell will not say if Donald Trump is qualified to sit in the Oval Office. McConnell dodging the question at least twice on ABC's This Week, and also says that compared to Hillary Clinton's campaign, Donald Trump does have a money problem.
There's a lot of work to be done to turn the campaign in a different direction, and one of those obvious flaws at the moment is cash on hand. He needs to catch up and catch up fast.
Clinton reportedly has about $120 million on hand compared to Trump's paltry $2 million.
Here's what
West
we do
Virginians are not breathing easy yet.
Just as we have seen, there are many frustrated people in Britain.
Senator Joe Manchin of West Virginia.
We know there are frustrated people here at home, too.
Flooding that hit the state.
I've seen it. I've heard it. I know it. That's why I've worked hard to find solutions.
I left it for the same reason.
The National Weather Service has issued a flash flood watch for most of southern Virginia.
And how do you convince all those voters who think he isn't?
The Supreme Court being
Well,
watched
look,
again
I think
today.
there's no question that he's made a number of mistakes over the last few weeks.
One on a Texas
I think they were beginning to right the ship. It's a long
Clashes
time until
between
November.
neo-Nazis and counter-demonstrators in California ended with 10 injured
Here's my
yesterday.
question
Chris
this time.
Harvey is with the
Are you being
Sacramento
vetted?
Fire Department.
At least two of these patients have what are considered, life-threatening.
You made some very bold claims.
Stab wounds that meet what we call critical trauma criteria, that they were, stabbed in the abdomen or the chest.
The brawl happened as protesters confronted a white nationalist group with a permit to rally at the state capitol. 10 police officers in Round Lake Park are suing the town, claiming body cameras that they wore never turned off and recorded them using the restroom and changing clothes. Charges are pending after 2 were shot by an off-duty Cook County Sheriff's deputy on Chicago's southwest side. And authorities are investigating after an Amtrak train collided with a van, killing 5 in Colorado, including 3 children, on Sunday morning. The Denver Post reporting that the Southwest chief running between Chicago and L.A. did resume its normal route after the accident. Cubs suffer a 6-1 loss to the Marlins. White Sox over Toronto 5-2. The news, a service of Burger King's classic grilled hot dogs. Get to Burger King July 2nd and 3rd. Try a classic grilled hot dog for $1. All you have to do to get the $1 deal is go to Burger King and ask for the $1 deal on the classic grilled hot dog. Now, at participating Burger King restaurants, you need to limit 5 per transaction while supplies last. 5:36 and a check of traffic and weather on the way next on AM 560.
This hourly segment is brought to you by Papa Nicholas Coffee. Papa Nicholas, great coffee, period.
Ameritrust Mortgage is the one-stop mortgage shop. Buy or refinance. VA, FHA, and conventional. A local company. Ameritrust Mortgage is your one-stop mortgage shop.
This is Barbara Walters, president of Ameritrust. For any mortgage, call us. We know our business and we get you to the finish line fast. Time is critical when you're under contract and you're doing a mortgage. Our staff underwriter approves your loan. Ameritrust closes your loan with Ameritrust funds. There's never a wait for funds to transfer. Ameritrust is a mortgage banker. Our low interest rates are always a benefit to you. We quote them directly from live screen delivery pricing. That means the best rate. Our fee for any and all of our loans is $795. Charging points is primitive. We never charge points.
Ameritrust Mortgage. Call 815-459-7303 right now and compare. You'll get the lowest quote fast because they make the decisions. 815-459-7303 or go to am560myhome.com.
5:37. Let's get an update on the roads in our Guardian Security Services Traffic Center. Here's Jim Talamonte.
Thanks, Mike. At O'Hare, traffic is heavy on westbound 190 from the Kennedy Expressway to Manheim. The Kennedy itself still looks pretty good, though it's getting a bit heavy past Sayre. The Edens is clear. Eisenhower still good, just getting a little bit more congestion past Manheim. Inbound Stevenson has delays from Cass to County Line and Harlem to Kedzie. 40 minutes, 355 to Lakeshore Drive. Outbound 5 to 34. Inbound Ryan is a 5-minute delay from the Stevenson to the Burns Circle. I-57, Fisher Ford, a little heavy approaching the Ryan. Traffic is a service of Bank of America. Bigger purchases, bigger rewards. Start earning 2% cash back when you shop at grocery stores and now wholesale clubs with the Bank Americard Cash Rewards Credit Card. Learn more at bankofamerica.com/getcashback. Traffic answers when you need them most. Jim Talamonte on AM 560, The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer continues next. Your official Chicagoland weather forecast from the aircomfort.com Weather Center. Sunny, warm, a little less humid, high 89, partly cloudy and 61 overnight, and a nice day tomorrow with patchy clouds and sunshine and 72. 69 at O'Hare. Next news at 6. And Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues next on AM 560, The Answer.
This hourly segment is brought to you by Kelly Financial Services, helping you secure your financial future today. Visit kellyfinancialservicesinc.com.
You want more than just the headlines? Find out what's going on and what it means with me, Dennis Prager, this morning at 11, right here on AM 560, The Answer.
Good morning, Dan and Amy. So your reactions, now that you've had 3 days to digest Britain's decision to leave the European Union, and also the reactions on the Sunday talk shows, the reactions in all of the papers of record and opinion journals. It's been very striking to me. Take your calls through on 264-250-600, turnkey.pro answer line, 646-360-8, turnkey.pro text line. Very striking to me the difference in explanations from conservative intellectuals versus liberal intellectuals. Let me give you an example of this. Christiane Amanpour.
Christiane Amanpour.
Yes. She now relegated to the bowels of CNN somewhere.
Well, she's the international correspondent.
Yeah, like I said. And
but there's 5 of them, so
yeah,
I don't know where she ranks. But she's accomplished.
Oh, really?
She tried to hold.
She's
she's
accomplished because she tried.
I mean, she's an excellent reporter, but she doesn't play well here in the States. She plays well on an international stage.
She's excellent.
I'm sure that's how they explained it to her when they took her off the desk on Sunday.
Yeah, listen to this excellence in reporting from Christiane Amanpour explaining Brexit. You know, this isn't her explaining it. It's just her reporting on what the experts are saying.
Brexit has been peddled on an illusion. This is The Economist now. And that when reality interfaces with Brexit, it is going to make Britain, certainly in the short term, poorer, less innovative, less strong, going, as some people say, from Great Britain to Little England. So this is a moment of destiny that many, many people, the overwhelming preponderance of experts and independent analysts and allies of the UK and the scientists and the academics and the economists and the business and even the sports people, the overwhelming majority said stay in the EU. The people wanted to do something different.
Oh, there's just so much deliciousness there.
Where do you begin?
The Economist, like that's the authority. The Economist. The Economist is a pro-world government, left-leaning publication. Oh, by the way. That's number one. Number two, well, just as a quick aside, even the sports people said so. Oh, boy, a soccer player said that you should stay in the EU. That's where I go for my instruction.
And nobody loves soccer more than Dan Proft.
I mean, right. Give me a British athlete of note. Eddie the Eagle Edwards said you should stay in the... He's not British.
No,
he's Argentinian. Yeah, I'm talking
No, he's from. Well, yeah, all right.
Yeah, he's Argentinian.
He plays for Argentina. Okay,
but the appeal to sports. What are you talking about?
David Beckham spoke.
Yeah, exactly.
Because that's the only one I could think of.
And also, I would like to hear from Posh Spice before I make a determination.
Well, I need to know what Sporty Spice says.
So that's one thing, just as the silliness of it all. But the other thing she said, all of the experts agreed. Right? All of the elites in academia, in business, in the political realm, in media, they all agreed and they were rejected. And they can't figure it out. So you know how they explain it to themselves? Well, everybody who didn't pay attention to us is a racist.
And what we're hearing, certainly from people who are worried precisely about this, is that they feel that this marks a victory for the kind of economic nationalism, to quote this article here, for the kind of xenophobia that will imperil the liberal world order that has guaranteed Western prosperity and stability since World War II.
Yeah, this is the same Project Fear campaign that the cosmopolitan elites in London and in all of those sectors that Christiane detailed. This is the same program they ran in the campaign, and they lost. That was rejected. Instead, as George Will writes eloquently, and we'll get to George Will leaving the Republican Party later, but just what he writes on this topic is useful. George Will writes, voters chose the optimism of Brexit. 60 years after Britain's humiliation in the Suez debacle, Britain has a spring in its step, confident that it will flourish when Brussels no longer controls 60 to 70% of the British government's actions. Britain was last conquered by an invading army in 1066. That'd be William the Conqueror, you recall. In 2016, it repelled an attempted conquest by the EU's nomenclatura. And isn't that the same thing that's going on in the United States, just to draw an analogy? Isn't it to go back to what Victor Davis Hanson wrote about the Trump movement 8 months ago? You know, the elites in media and academia and business and entertainment and sports. I know them all, and they're even worse than you think. And the experts turn out, you know, they may be very accomplished in their fields. They may have a great intelligence. But you know what? It doesn't mean they are better situated to run your life for you than you are. And it seems to me what you have conservative intellectuals saying is people who were being told what to do and how to think said no more. That's conservative.
The working class, though.
Well, no, to some extent, but to me that's a simplification of it. Very much like saying the Trump support is just kind of blue collar types. It's not. It's people that are sick of, that want their culture back. She talks about it as nationalism, and so does the left. Because that's like a proxy for saying xenophobe. It's a proxy for saying racist. I think it's people saying, I want Britain back. And that means you don't have to look like me to be part of Britain, but there's a certain cultural identity to the UK, just like there's a certain cultural identity to the US. And it's very similar, probably more so here, which is, hey, come one, come all, as long as you're here to be productive and assimilate into the American tradition of peaceful pluralism, come one, come all. And we want our identity back. And we're not going to stand by and have it all torn apart. Not going to stand by and let this country be turned into something that it's not.
I spoke to a man from Germany who his ex-wife is from the UK. She's actually from Scotland. And he said, we're happy because we want our borders back. He said, he said, people in the States have no idea the influx of immigrants that we are getting and the numbers of Muslim groups that are coming in, the refugees, and none of our politicians are stopping it. Yeah, and we're fearful. And he said, I don't mean to sound racist, but there's a time to be racist, and that time is now.
It's not racism. It's not. That's not racism. That's silliness.
We're just repeating what he just said. But
well, whatever.
Because of whatever side you're on, you look a little racist if you don't want certain refugees coming into your country.
No, it's if you disagree with the left, then you're racist because they don't have an argument. They can't argue on the merits, so they just say you're racist. You disagree with me, by definition, you're racist. You're a bad person because you disagree with me. You're evil because you disagree with me. And that's their way of dismissing you because they can't engage you. It's not racist to say, I want some quality control on the people coming into this country because, frankly, of past bad acts by people who have come into this country, even legally, but they perhaps weren't vetted like they should have been. That is not illegitimate. In fact, it's the first responsibility of government, physical security of your constituents. And so listen now, by contrast to Christiane Amanpour's proper characterization, by the way, of left intellectuals. Listen to Krauthammer on Fox News over the weekend talking about this very issue. And Krauthammer was somebody who was leaning Remain. So he's not a Leave guy. Yeah. But he explained what happened in the way that Krauthammer does, in a thoughtful way with some historical context. And it's the difference between how conservative intellectuals are assessing this and how liberals are. And this is the other side of it.
The origins of the EU and how the idea, a very utopian idea and successful for a while, was corrupted. The idea was, after the two world wars, the worst in human history, they wanted to create something, and they did, that would ultimately reconcile Germany and France. That began as the European Coal Commission. It had to do with simply commerce. And it grew to encompass 28 countries. And it succeeded in the sense that for the first time in 1,000 years, the idea of intra-European war was inconceivable. Nobody could even imagine Germany, France, Italy going to war against each other. The problem is that the institution that was created to achieve that, and it is a great achievement, became a bureaucratic monstrosity which tried to add onto the economic union a political union that the people were never asked for. When they had the referenda, it was rejected, and the EU would go around it. So it created a supranationalist institution that suppressed nationalism, of which you can only do for so long, and this is the first exit.
That's the thing. That's the thing right there. The political union overlay on the economic union, because that's what bureaucracy does. It tends to expand, and you tend to have mission creep, and you wanted to subsume everybody's identity under this kind of, regional, supranational government, as Krauthammer described, and people rejected that. It's not xenophobic. It's not racist. It's just a rejection of big government.
The stories you need to know to start your day. This is Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560, The Answer.
So guess how much the average 401k lost on Friday because of the Brexit vote?
I was down about 2%.
$3,032.
I lost.
Yeah, I think you did, big shooter. And 2.1 trillion globally. That's all right.
Yeah, it's funny. It turns out when you just focus on economic man and woman, which is what the modern political class wants us to do, that you make that the sole focus and you destroy wealth. Maybe that's instructive. Maybe there's a lesson there.
Good time to buy a house, though. All right, today mostly sunny, less humid, a high of 89 degrees. And then tomorrow it's going to be cooler around here, but it's pleasant. We'll have plenty of sunshine. A crisp high of only 72. Let's get the travel times. Here's Jim Delamonte.
Good morning, Amy and Dan. Kennedy outbound, it's stop and go from Lawrence to Sayre, and then we see delays on westbound 190 as well. From the Kennedy to Manheim, so you're looking at about 30 minutes downtown to O'Hare. Inbound 5 to 20. All clear on the Edens for now. Inbound Eisenhower, a bit tight. Manheim to 17th. 31 minutes. Thorndale to downtown. Outbound good at 29. Stevenson, delay starting actually around 126, and then again around Lamont Road. It is 50 minutes already. 355 to Lakeshore Drive, 35 from the Tri-State. Outbound is fine. The Ryan, 21 minutes, 95th to downtown. Northbound Tri-State heavy from the Reagan Tollway to the Grand Avenue curve. I'm Jim Talamonte in the Guardian Security Services Traffic Center.
If you love the hunt, this is for you. I'm talking about the hunt for special antique collectibles, furniture, art, and decorative items that make your home sweet home special. A place where you'll discover Chicago's best kept treasures. Northwest Treasure and sister store Home on the Highway are just a block apart on Northwest Highway on Chicago's northwest side. In addition to an amazing selection of antique collectibles and furniture with a mid-century modern focus, you'll find vintage jewelry, decorative items, art, and loads of man cave. Mention AM560 and receive a 10% discount on your first purchase. Northwest Treasure and Home on the Highway are conveniently located at 6122 and 6217 Northwest Highway in Chicago, close to Chicago's nicest neighborhoods and Park Ridge. And there's plenty of free parking. Call Northwest Treasure and Home on the Highway, home of Chicago's best kept treasures, at 773-774-6353. For more information, call 773-774-7653.
Women's Care Center of LaGrange thinks all human life is sacred. That's why they established a refuge for women like Jasmine, who thought abortion was her only choice. Now Jasmine's son is 1 year old and is the joy of her life. Now's your chance to make a significant difference in young women's lives, just like Jasmine and their unborn babies. Women's Care Center of LaGrange is looking for a new executive director to lead their organization and advance it to the next level, starting immediately. The ideal candidate will have experience in social media, networking, fundraising, and donor database management. If you or someone you know is ready to use their God-given talents to help Women's Care Center of LaGrange reach their potential, please call Laura at 708-352-5000. That's 708-352-5000. Or email your resume to Women's Care Center at core.com. That's Women's Care Center at core, CORE.com.
I'm Dan Proft with an Upstream Idea, brought to you by the Illinois Policy Institute. 27. Illinois state employees, on average, receive total compensation 27% higher than their private sector counterparts. State employees made nearly $4,000 more in wages and $13,000 in benefits than private sector employees. More than half of state workers will retire before the age of 60 with a guaranteed state pension. The state is in a financial death spiral with ground impact imminent. So keep this in mind as Governor Bruce Rauner breaks off contract talks with AFSCME, the state's largest public sector union. AFSCME has been unwilling to give on its demands for annual step increases of 3.8%, in addition to annual general wage increases. The lowball estimate of the cost of what AFSCME demands is $1.6 billion. That's $1.6 billion more from Illinois families who already pay the highest property taxes in the nation. This is Governor Rauner's moment of truth. He ran for office saying he is not a politician. He said he is a businessman who will make the difficult decisions to turn around the state he loves. We're about to find out if that's true. For more Upstream ideas, visit upstream-ideas.com. I'm Dan Proft.
AM 560, The Answer.
Tell me what you want, what you really, really want.
Too early in the morning.
Yeah, so it's always too early for the Spice Girls. Text from 773, now that the UK has pulled out of the EU, it will never get the Lucas Museum. It's so true. Neither will Chicago, announced Friday. What I saw trending, first Brexit, then Luke exit.
Oh, that's so funny.
Yeah.
I got it.
Yeah, see?
Yeah, George Lucas decided to call it quits.
Yeah, take your wife and your Ewok of a mayor and hit the skids, buddy.
But the thing is, he said, one quote that he mentioned, because I read the Sun-Times on Saturday, he had mentioned that, I can't believe the fight that you put up for a parking lot. But it was more for a parking lot as a land grab. I mean, for the mayor to give him 17 acres of our land, not even ask. So I feel like we live in a dictatorship, almost in a communist city. It was wrong.
Well, here's the other thing. Let's not forget.
What? Let's not forget.
We were going to go out to the bond market to borrow $1 billion for a billionaire to put his toys on our property.
Yeah, his movie posters and trinkets.
So finance it yourself, even if it was going to be a great thing. Finance it yourself. Let me just ask people, first of all, whether you think we were going to make the money back or not, is the city of Chicago really in the position to make a $1 billion bet on George Lucas's little playhouse? I don't fracking think so.
You've made the switch, and it feels so good. You've switched to Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560. The Answer.
Congratulations to all who took the Balance of Nature New Year's Challenge. Success stories are pouring in. So many people have been helped through this incentive that I have asked Balance of Nature to continue this challenge for as long as possible.
I'll tell you what, this stuff is great. I haven't gotten sick. Everybody around me is coming down with that laryngitis, and it seems like it's all over the country. It's like a respiratory tract infection, and people lose their voice, and then it goes away, and then it comes back like 2 weeks later, and it's worse. I teach in a school. Half the teachers here, are sick. They're miserable, and I haven't gotten sick, and I swear it's this stuff. It's this fruits and veggies I'm taking.
Good health is just a phone call away. What are you waiting for? Call now and take the health challenge to get a free month's supply of Balance of Nature. Call 1-800-2468-751. That's 1-800-2468-751. Or go online to balanceofnature.com. Use promo code CHICAGO.
When I hear realtors boast about servicing a 3-county area or selling a home every 15 minutes, I think, what level of service could their clients possibly be getting? This is Chris Jacobs with Century 21 affiliated in Inverness, and my message is a little bit different. If being a realtor for more than 20 years has taught me one thing, it's that all real estate is local. While I can't say I'm the #1 realtor in the country, I can tell you that over the past 10 years, I've sold more homes in Inverness than anyone else. My team specializes in Inverness, Palatine, and Arlington Heights. We pride ourselves on providing our clients exceptional customer service and local market knowledge. So if you're selling your home or looking to purchase a property in our area, then call me, Chris Jacobs, at 847-401-4859. That's 847-401-4859. Or visit us at chrisjacobshomes.com.
Each office independently owned and operated, an equal housing opportunity. After returning home, many of our nation's veterans suffer from post-traumatic stress disorder or other issues that can be barriers to stable employment. Some even end up homeless. A Safe Haven is a social enterprise and shelter that has helped to restore the lives of thousands of American heroes. They do it by offering drug and alcohol rehabilitation, education at the high school and college level, job training and employment. So by the time the veteran leaves the facility, they'll never need to accept charity or government assistance again. Join Commissioner Dan Patlack and Team Patlack Republicans as they run and walk in the 6th annual 5K run, hosted by A Safe Haven to end homelessness for veterans. The race is on Sunday morning, July 10th at 8:30 a.m. in Chicago's historic Douglas Park. Register at TeamPatlackRepublicans.com. That's TeamPatlackRepublicans.com to help Dan and his crew be the largest team raising the most money for veterans in need. Don't forget, register online as a team, as Team Patlack Republicans.
AM 560, The
Answer. Coming up on Chicago's Morning Answer.
Louisiana mom opened a can of whoop-ass on her son for burglarizing a neighbor, and then the authorities returned the favor at 6:06.
And the dynamic duo, Hillary Clinton and Elizabeth Warren, teaming up today to hit the campaign trail. Will she be the next VP? But first, let's go into the newsroom. Here is Mike Scott.
Amy and Dan, here are the stories we're watching right now. A suspected armed robber shot and killed by police in Dalton. A bicyclist killed by a freight train in Chicago, and that investigation continues. The Real ID compliance bill finally signed by the Illinois governor, making our licenses comply with federal law, at least partially. Marlins crushed the Cubs. Chris Sale still the best pitcher in town. Sunny, warm, less humid in your forecast with a high of 89 today. WIND Chicago News Time is 6 o'clock.
News Radio. I'm Dave Anthony. It's a nasty job. Shoveling mud, water out of your home, like they keep doing in parts of West Virginia amid the flooding cleanup, the worry that more could come. Fox's Tanya J. Powers has more live.
Dave, more than 20 counties are still under a flash flood watch today. Flooding has already killed at least 25 people there in the last week. The National Weather Service says heavy rain is possible in areas that are already hard hit, like Greenbrier County, where 17 of those people died. More may be missing. People are still trying to come to grips with the situation.
My son, everything he owned, he has nothing. Not a pair of shoes, nothing.
About 18,000 homes and businesses remained without power yesterday, Dave.
Tanya, wildfire that's burned 200 homes around Lake Isabella, California, is now 40% contained, blamed for at least 2 deaths.
We have to go to each property and ensure that there's no victims.
That's Tyler Townsend with the Kern County Fire Department. Hillary Clinton leads the race for the White House. In most polls, it's close in some key battleground states, but one of the 2 new national polls gives the Democrat a big edge. Fox's Jared Halpern's live in Washington.
Hillary Clinton has opened up a double-digit lead on Donald Trump. A weekend Washington Post ABC News poll gives the presumptive Democratic nominee a 12-point advantage, 51-39. Clinton over the weekend continuing to paint her Republican challenger as unqualified.
No one should be confused about America's commitment to Europe. Not an autocrat in the Kremlin, not a presidential candidate on a Scottish golf course.
Trump is also pointing to the Brexit vote, tweeting Clinton has no sense of markets and bad judgment, Dave.
Now, Jared, stocks could drop again today on Wall Street as European markets fall further in reaction to that British vote to leave the European Union. Britain's Treasury chief says they were prepared for this. Fox News Radio, fair and balanced.
Mostly clear skies and sunshine this morning. 6:02 on AM 560, The Answer. I'm Mike Scott. 10 area police officers are suing the town of Round Lake Park, claiming body cameras they wore never turned off. It was filed in a federal lawsuit against the town. The lawsuit claims that officers discovered the problem while reviewing video from cameras. According to the Tribune, cameras caught thousands of highly offensive video takes. Officers are seeking $100,000 each. An investigation underway after a suspected armed robber was shot and killed by police in Dalton. Dante Johnson was, according to police, trying to rob a Shell gas station when officers arrived on the scene. Police fired their weapons after they claimed Johnson pointed a gun in their direction. Charges are pending after 2 were shot by an off-duty Cook County Sheriff's deputy on the near southwest side. The deputies saw a teen boy and a man shooting into a vehicle last night. Officer then fired his weapon at the 2 suspects. Both are hospitalized in good condition after being wounded. Governor Bruce Rauner signing legislation regarding a state-issued ID. The proposal aims to put Illinois in compliance with the federal Real ID Act, creating minimum standards for state licenses. Republican Illinois congressman breaking with his party and backing some gun control legislation, along with several Illinois Democrats. Representative Bob Dole introduced that bipartisan bill Friday, preventing terrorist suspects from purchasing some firearms. It's identical to a Senate bill that's already been introduced. Cubs suffer a loss to the Marlins in the finale of a 4-game set in Miami. Marlins starter Jose Fernandez twirling a gem. White Sox over Toronto 5-2. Chris Sale the first to 13 wins. Chile wins Copa America over Argentina. Lionel Messi misses in the shootout and says because of that miss, he'll quit the Argentina national team. The news service of Napa Auto Parts, with more than 400,000 quality parts and over 90 years of experience, Napa can help you keep just about anything on the road. So stop by your local Napa Auto Parts store and keep it running longer, stronger with Napa know-how. 6:04 and a check of traffic and weather on the way next on AM 560.
Raise your hand if you think you know what identity theft is. Just kidding. This is a radio commercial. We can't tell if your hand is up. But we can tell you that if you think identity theft is when someone adds charges to your credit card, you're only partially right. Identity theft is when someone pretends to be you, to open new accounts in your name, or any number of other bad things. That's where LifeLock can help. We use proprietary technology to detect and alert you to a whole range of identity threats. And if you have a problem, our U.S.-based team of specialists will work to fix it. You'll get more protection with LifeLock than you get from free credit monitoring alone. Obviously, no one can prevent all identity theft or monitor all transactions at all businesses, but LifeLock is the best identity theft protection available. Join LifeLock right now and get a special 15% discount off your first year. Visit LifeLock.com and use promo code FREEDOM15. That's FREEDOM15 to take advantage of an incredible 15% discount off your first year. Act now. Offer ends July 3rd. Go to LifeLock.com and enter promo code FREEDOM15. LifeLock.
The thought of my sons growing up without me inspired me to quit smoking.
I talked to my doctors, and then I threw away all my cigarettes, ashtrays, and lighters.
I started exercising instead of smoking.
Staying away from alcohol when I was first quitting was key.
I kept on trying, learned something each time.
Do whatever it takes.
We did it, so can you.
You can quit. Call 1-800-QUIT-NOW for help getting free medication, if available and eligible. That's 1-800-QUIT-NOW. A message from the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention.
Individuals and businesses with tax problems, listen carefully. If you owe over $10,000 in back taxes or have unfiled tax returns, U.S. Tax Shield can help you take back control. The IRS can seize your bank accounts, garnish your paycheck, close your business, and file criminal charges. Our team of tax attorneys can stop collections and get you protected. U.S. Tax Shield offers a price protection guaranteed quote to get you protected today. U.S. Tax Shield is A+ rated with the BBB, so call 800-466-9625. U.S. Tax Shield, 800-466-9625.
6:06. Let's get an update on your ride to work in our Guardian Security Services Traffic Center. The latest with Jim Talamonte.
Thanks, Mike. The Edens is fine right now. Inbound Kennedy, a little heavy coming out of the River Road Toll. Outbound stop and go Lawrence to Sayre. It's 29 minutes downtown to O'Hare, and westbound 190 is heavy from the Kennedy to Manheim. About Eisenhower, slow Manheim to 17th. 32 minutes, Thorndale to downtown, outbound 29. Stevenson is 50 minutes, 355 to Lakeshore Drive, outbound clear. Ryan looking at 22 minutes, 95th to downtown. Make it 25 now. And I-57, 30 minutes, I-80 to the merge. Bishop Ford 19, northbound Tri-State slow. Reagan Tollway to the Grand Avenue curve. Traffic is a service of Burger King's Classic Grilled Dogs. Get to Burger King July 2nd and 3rd and try a Classic Grilled Dog for just $1. All you have to do to get the $1 deals, go to Burger King and ask for the $1 deal on the Classic Grilled Dog. At participating Burger King restaurants, limit 5 per transaction while supplies last. Traffic answers when you need them most. I'm Jim Talamonte, AM 560, The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer continues next. Your official Chicagoland weather forecast. From the aircomfort.com Weather Center, providing the right climate for business since 1935. Here's meteorologist Kevin Snyder.
Mostly sunny and less humid today. High 89, partly cloudy night, low 61. Sun and patchy clouds tomorrow with a high 72 and a clear night for tomorrow night with a low of 53. Then Wednesday, a full day of sunshine, high of 80. I'm Kevin Snyder on AM 560, The Answer.
69 at O'Hare, 75 along the lakefront. Your next news update, 6:30. Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues next on AM 560, The Answer.
This hourly segment is brought to you by On Target Radio, the show dedicated to the red meat issues, including gun control, privacy, and freedom of speech. Heard Sunday nights at 9 p.m.
Good morning. Welcome to your Monday morning briefing. Here's what you need to know to start your day.
A lot of people think this will be the greatest par 3 anywhere in the world.
Just as we have seen, there are many frustrated people in Britain. We know there are frustrated people here at home, too.
The origins of the EU and how the idea, a very utopian idea and successful for a while, was corrupted.
This is Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan Proft and Amy Jacobson on AM 560. The Answer.
Good morning, Dan and Amy. I got to read this text. Text from 773. This is great.
Little dicey. I don't know. You want to do that?
Dicey? No,
Okay.
this is not even a
All
close
right.
call. Hillary Clinton and Elizabeth Warren.
Did you say Elizabeth?
Hillary Clinton and Elizabeth Warren. Grumpy old menopause.
Hey,
That's pretty good.
That's good.
Pretty good.
I'm highly offended.
We're going to talk VP choices because they seem to be coming into focus. The field seems to be narrowing for both candidates. We'll talk about it at the bottom of the hour. But right now,
You can
Amy,
break down the states. Yes.
this is maybe a particularly poignant story for you. A Louisiana mom is in trouble with the law. Here's what she did. Saquana Spears. I think I'm pronouncing her name right.
Yeah, Saquana. Common spelling, right? Saquana?
Oh, yes.
Okay.
The CH is silent. 30-year-old Miss Spears wanted to show her 3 sons some tough love by whipping them for breaking into a neighbor's home.
Oh, okay.
So they broke into a neighbor's home. She, engaged in corporal punishment. She whipped them. And the police say it was with an electrical cord. She says it was with a belt. She said she was just trying to be a good mom.
I was being a mother who love her kids, who want to protect her kids and steer them in the right direction.
Doesn't want to be visiting them in prison if they get off on the wrong path by doing things like breaking into a neighbor's home. Police arrested her.
Oh, no. I was hoping you were not going to say that.
Yeah, she's a single mother of 6.
Oh.
Yeah. She could be charged with felony counts of child cruelty that carry a maximum penalty of up to 20 years. She has had her children removed from her custody and taken into custody by family services there. And so the question is, one, I guess, is about corporal punishment generally. Are you a pro or con on that topic? And the other is about this instance because, according to the police reports, the one 13-year-old son was struck multiple times, whether it was an electrical cord or belt. The teen had lacerations on his arms and marks across his body. The 2 other sons also had visible marks. 312-642-5600, turnkey.pro, answer line 64636DA, turnkey.pro, text line. Should the mom be in custody and should her children be in the state's custody?
What about her parental rights? I mean, yes, probably she whipped him maybe a little bit too hard, but he won't do it again. That's the thing. We can't even talk. If we take the wrong tone with our children right now, DCFS or Family Services, they can come in and take your kids away like that. Kids have way too much power. And what happened to the kids? So the kids don't get arrested, but they focus all their energy on the mom.
And she says, right, she can't believe she's being made out to be the bad guy.
I reacted, and I'm the bad guy. Like, it's not right.
Adrian Peterson case, whipping the boy with a switch, with a stick, basically.
Well, it's a switch that his son picked out.
Well, okay.
Okay.
I'm not sure how much that mitigates it, but okay. So, is there a difference between the wrap on the behind and taking out even a belt and doing visible bodily harm?
Maybe she was a little aggressive in this case, but they committed a serious crime. I mean, B&E is nothing to scoff at. B&E is going to the juvenile center.
Well, it's funny because the neighbor whose home they broke into, she agrees.
Her kids done wrong, and she spanked them or whooped them, and I commend her for that.
I mean, where do we live anymore where we can't just not get out? The belt. I got the belt a few times, and I'll tell you one thing. I made sure I never got the belt again. And I was talking to Cesar Perez, our executive producer, about this whole issue about spanking.
Right. I mean, that's how I disciplined you, and I think it's proven very effective.
I mean, you did break my foot. Maybe you went a little too far. I don't know.
It's out of love.
It's out of love. But I mean, seriously, as a parent, we have given away so much to the children that we have given them. You know why they feel entitled? Because parents are to blame for that. We hover over them all the time. People go to their kids' practices. Oh, my God, leave them alone. Let them be children. And we give them too much power so that if we look the wrong way, that they know about 911. They know about DCFS or Family Services, that they can call them like that if they feel even scared.
You know what's interesting?
Where's my safe space?
It's interesting that black women in the community, in the neighborhood in which Miss Spears lives, are kind of rallying around her.
Yeah, because she's awesome and I love her.
Well, okay. A hairdresser, local hairdresser who doesn't even know Spears, paid the $400 to bail out of jail.
Oh my
out
gosh.
of jail because she thought that it was wrong for her to be arrested. It was wrong for her to have her kids taken away. I mean, I think you can distinguish. Well, here's what the state says: Louisiana Department of Children and Family Services said reasonable constructive discipline is a healthy part of parenting, but it crosses into abuse when when it leaves a child cut, burned, bloodied, or bruised. Do they have a point? Do they have a point? I mean, it's one thing, as I said, a slap on the behind. It's another thing to, whip somebody with a stick or an electrical cord or even a belt such that you cause, lacerations.
Probably, maybe, again, maybe just a little aggressive. But if they get thrown in jail, their whole life in prison is going to be filled with lacerations and whippings and beatings. Sometimes by guards, sometimes by other inmates.
Yeah,
I mean, really, this story breaks my heart.
Does it matter that she's a single mom trying to keep her kids on the straight and narrow when we have so many of these stories about, frankly, hey, congratulations, feminists, nice job. You've eliminated fathers, and you've said it's okay to eliminate fathers from families. Good job. How's it going? Pretty well? Not so much. But that's just an aside. But does it matter? And it's interesting to me that you have not only the victim of the burglary, but this just kind of other person who lives in the community who's a hairdresser who heard the story and rallied to Miss Spears's defense and assistance. It seems to me it's a bit of an interesting cultural divide between on the issue of disciplines in some respects between the state and just different communities. And it's not just racial, but it is also racial.
Well, she said had she not disciplined her kids, she feared that they might get into bigger trouble as they grew up. I know, 312-642-5600. And
I don't think, here's the thing. First of all, I can't imagine they're going to actually move to charge her and attempt to convict her as with a felony charges. You're right. She's been charged, but I can't believe they're not going to plead her out or at least attempt to.
Well,
number
she
one,
still
number
doesn't
two,
have her kids.
Yeah, and that's
the biggest punishment of all. Government.
And that's the other thing. Do you want these 6 children, even if she was wrong in this case? And I would say the teen had lacerations on his arms. I think when you start to, cut, I think you've taken discipline too far.
Maybe he had a scab and he picked it to make his mom look better, to make his mom look worse to authorities. And trust me, don't underestimate the slyness of children.
Oh, okay, but let's just stipulate to the facts as laid out in the police report, just for the sake of discussion. If she had gone that far, where she's whipping him with something that is cutting him, that to me is too far. Let's go back to just even the belt to the behind. I don't have a big problem with, but you take it to cutting, and now we're getting a little far afield. And there is a role for the state to intervene if a parent is being abusive to the child. But here's the question. The question is, these 6 children, what do you think their prospects are in life with Miss Spears, their mom, or being raised in foster care in the DCFS system in Louisiana? I'd probably bet on the mom, because at least, again, even if she's wrong in this case, this is somebody who at least is taking a very active, maybe too active, interest in her kids' lives and keeping them on the straight and narrow.
But right now, the boys, this is in my wheelhouse. The boys are 13, 12, and 10. And she made them return the items, and she did tell police that she beat them with an RCA electrical cord. So she wasn't lying to police.
Well, there was...
She just told them she wanted to teach them a lesson. And yeah, the 13-year-old arms had some blood on it.
She according to police documents, she told police that it was a belt.
On this account.
But would you like to go down to Louisiana and whoop them as well? Would that make you feel better about this case if you get your licks in?
I think what she did was right. Had it have been my boys, I would have punished them, but I can't touch my children. So I would have just given them a nice, hot, fat time out in their bedrooms.
Boy, that'll teach them.
Yeah, really. Oh, but make sure when you do put them in a timeout, Dan, because you'll be watching Peyton and Eli soon. Take away their electronics so it's not an enjoyable timeout.
Right, yes.
Because they can sneak in those things.
Well, they're modern conveniences.
Yes.
Lou in Chicago Heights, you're on Chicago's Morning Answer.
I was 14 years old. I got whooped by my father. Obviously, it was my father for stealing.
Ooh.
All right, I remember that till this day. And when he did this to me, he told me, I had an older brother. He says, I'm going to make sure you don't think you were treated any different than your brother. And I remember that to this day. I never laid a hand on I got a daughter, but I don't think I would hit my daughter. Now, maybe if we would have taken corporal punishment a little different in the city of Chicago, you wouldn't have 7 dead this weekend and 51 shot. Discipline, and I've run a boxing program for 30 years, and the discipline among children today is so much different than it was 30 years ago when I started. Kids are a totally different, entitled group. It is unbelievable. Kids do absolutely nothing.
Thanks for the call, Lou. And
they're terrorists.
By the way, that's also why Lou still walks with a limp. Lou, thanks for the call. Appreciate it. Appreciate it. Thanks, Lou.
Dan.
I'm just guessing.
Oh my gosh.
I could tell by the beating it sounds like he took that he probably left him with a bit of a limp.
Yeah, I think he has a limp from something else. But
yeah. Well,
okay.
if he's been boxing,
Uh-huh.
well, but that's an interesting perspective, different era for sure. Jeff in Chesterton, Indiana.
Yeah, I think the kids deserve it. I think the mother was justified because, the age of these kids, you think that it's good for her to be able to just bend them over and spank them on the butt with her hand? How's that going to work with their age?
Yeah, they'll run away from her.
In the last caller stole out of my thunder. The exact same thing. I'm 56 years old, and I went through the same thing, and I can see nowadays how kids are they're a completely different breed than they used to be 30 years ago.
Oh,
yeah.
And they have
call,
their phone
Jeff.
too, and they'll hold their phone up like, I can call 911. I can call DCFS.
Not if you take your phone and break it.
Smash it to the ground.
Randy in South Haven, Michigan.
Hey, I was just thinking about the alternative here. If you've got a kid who breaks into someone's home and the person who owns that home is armed, he could have been shot dead.
No question.
And the mom, in some ways, is defending that child's life by what she did. If we've got Good Samaritan laws to say if I give somebody CPR and I break their ribs, I'm not liable, isn't this kind of the same thing? The mom inflicted some pain on that kid, but she may have saved the kid's life by doing that.
Well, it was after the fact, so it's not quite the same thing, but I appreciate thanks for the call, Randy. I appreciate the perspective. Cassandra in Montrose Beach.
The great Bo Jackson told the story that at 15, I believe that was the age, he was headed down the wrong road, and his mother held a gun on him with one hand and a whip in the other and said, I'm either going to shoot you or you're going to stay here and take your whooping for this bad thing you did. And he said that had changed his life.
Thanks for the call, Cassandra. If only my mom had done that.
Yeah, did you, do I dare ask, I can't imagine that you would get a whooping because I could see you trying to talk your way out of it and debate your way out of it.
Yeah.
Like, Mother, the plausible deniability is this.
Yeah, I wasn't able to talk my way out of everything.
You weren't?
And deservedly so.
What's the worst thing you did?
Look, the statute of limitations has not run. I can't talk about it. I'd be incriminating myself. I'm taking the fifth like Hillary's IT guy.
How about you?
Eric and Stager, you're on Chicago's Morning Answer.
You egg someone's house?
Yeah. Good morning, Dan and Amy. I just want to say that I think they really need to take the history into account here. If there's a pattern of abuse, then certainly they should step in. But this woman did this act out of fear for her kids' children and anger for probably her own perception of failure for raising them. And I think she did the right thing. Okay.
Thanks for the call, Eric. Yeah, it's interesting. You could have one moment that is egregious. You don't necessarily need a pattern, but I suppose he makes a fair point when you say, do you look at the pattern? Is this a woman who has been physical with her kids for no good reason as compared to punishing them for breaking into a house, which is a pretty good reason?
Assume the position.
Thank you, sir. May I have another?
Connect with Dan and Amy using the AM 560 mobile app. Download it today at 560theanswer.com/mobile.
So, Dan, what is the worst thing you did as a kid? Did you TP somebody's house?
I am not going to answer that question without an attorney present.
Did you go pool hopping? Egg somebody's house? What'd you do?
All right, I'll tell you.
All right, coming up next, you'll tell me, right?
No, I'll tell you right now.
No, I don't want to know right now.
All right, I'll wait.
Today, but you don't have to wait for the forecast anymore. Mostly sunny today, plenty of sunshine right now, less humid, high of 89 degrees. And tomorrow a lot cooler around here. We'll have plenty of sunshine, some patchy clouds, a high of 72. Let's get those travel times. Here's Jim Telemonte.
Thanks, Amy and Dan. Outbound Kennedy traffic is stop and go from Montrose to Sayre, and then it's heavy on westbound 190 as well. It's about 32 minutes downtown to O'Hare, inbound 22. About Eden's Heavy Tower to Willow with a stall on the shoulder. 22 minutes, Lake Cook to Montrose, outbound 19. Eisenhower, 45 minutes. Thorndale to downtown, outbound 36. Stevenson inbound, there's a crash before First Avenue in the right lane. It is an hour and 5 minutes, 3:55 to Lakeshore Drive. Ryan, 25 minutes, 95 to downtown. I-57, 30 minutes, I-80 to the merge. Reagan Tollway is eastbound delays, York to the Tri-State. Jim Talamonte of the Guardian Security Services Traffic Center.
You know, every guy dreads the honey-do list, so give yourself a weekend off and check out ChicagoRadioDeals.com for some home improvement help. How's the air quality in your home? Allergens could be affecting the air you breathe. Well, Royal Home Comfort Services is offering several deals at half off their normal prices to improve the air quality in your home. Purchase a full home air duct cleaning for $195. Now, this deal includes all your ducts and an inspection of your furnace as well. They also have a deal to rid your home ductwork of all unwanted bacteria, including mold, using a natural cleansing agent to keep you and your family safe and healthy. But wait, there's more. Royal Home Comfort also has a deal to clean and inspect your home dryer vent for only $45. Now, if you want to tackle a project yourself, shop at a great local hardware store with personal customer service. Purchase the Addison Building Materials $100 gift certificate for only $50. Addison Building Materials is a true value retailer. For more home improvement deals, just visit ChicagoRadioDeals.com.
Hey, I want to tell you about my friends at Guardian Security Services. Because here's the deal. If you're unhappy with your door staff or on-site security officers at your business or property, or you're just not receiving the services you were promised, there's no reason to tolerate it. Call my friends right now at Guardian Security Services to discuss your security officer needs. These guys are amazing. They've been Chicago's best for 41 years. They only assign the most professional, highly trained security officers in all of Chicagoland. Their vetting practices are exceptional. If you're finally ready to explore an alternative to your current security officer provider, then doggone it, do it. Pick up the phone right now and schedule a free security assessment with my friends at Guardian Security Services. Tell them me, Joe Walsh, sent you. Right now, call 708-385-3300. Again, 708-385-3300 or online at GuardianSecurityInc.com.
AM 560, The Answer.
All right, Dan Proft, hit me with your best shot. What did you do when you were a kid that got you in trouble, that you had to get a spanking?
I still feel the sting of disappointing my parents. It's difficult to talk about.
Oh, my God. Wait, did you steal your sister's Weeble Wobbles? Or
No.
Tear up the Green Monster?
Worse.
So no egging, no TPing. Did you steal something?
No. All right. I'll come clean.
Okay.
I got a B+.
Oh, my God! I'm going to beat you with this crutch!
Paul in Streamwood, you're on Chicago's Morning Answer.
Hey, guys. I hope you're having a good Monday. I just wanted to say I agree with everything you're saying, but where I work, we just recently hired, not recently, but within the past few months, we hired a lot of younger kids out of college, like between, 20, 24, something like that. And it's, you get to know them and you start talking about politics and parenting and stuff like that. And I think it's crazy that, I think everything you guys are saying is common sense. But all of these kids who come from, these really liberal schools and everything, they just don't see it. They think everything that you guys just said and everything, they think that's wrong. They try to make the arguments that you should never, ever touch your kid. You should just take things away from them. And just try to make all these arguments that just any type of discipline is bad.
Yeah.
And I just think it's crazy because, this is a generation, and it's not just at this job that I've seen at multiple jobs I worked at throughout my life. It's just, this is being taught to, future parents.
Yeah,
And
Paul.
I just think it's bad. It's crazy.
Paul, thanks for the call. And let me tell you how you solve that.
What'd you get a B+?
I'll tell you what, you take those mollycoddled millennials, you take them on back, you take off your belt, you teach them some frackin' manners.
Hear about the big stories of the day then talk about them right here on Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560. The Answer.
If you suffer sinus congestion, trouble breathing through your nose, which gets worse when you lie down, facial pain, and sinus infections, antibiotics, nasal sprays, and steroids can only do so much. I'm Dr. Robert Deitch, and excited to tell you that recent advances in our field have opened exciting new doors. We're leading experts in a newer procedure called balloon sinus dilation that gently expands your natural sinus openings to fix underlying drainage problems. It takes 15 minutes and is performed in our office. Balloon sinus dilation is minimally invasive using local anesthesia and best of all delivers immediate and long-lasting relief. We're board-certified ENT specialists who can help you avoid expensive hospital visits and long recovery times.
For immediate and long-lasting relief from your sinus problems, call ENT Associates today at 847-882-5888 or visit nosinusproblems.com. That's ENT Associates at 847-882-5888 or online at nosinusproblems.com.
Looking to secure financing on a new home or refinance your existing home? Mortgage rates are really low right now. That's why you need to call David Hochberg right now at Pearl Mortgage. Bonnie called because her monthly mortgage and student loan payments were financially suffocating her. While at her daughter's soccer practice, David informed Bonnie she could pay off her student loans, reduce her monthly payments over $1,000 a month, and pay for all her closing costs. David asked Bonnie why she didn't call sooner, and Bonnie told David his ad sounded too good to be true. Needless to say, Bonnie is now a huge believer and very proud to be one of David's success stories. So if you have credit card debt or student loans and would like to see if David could lower your monthly payment, like he lowered Bonnie's monthly payment by $1,000 a month, then pick up the phone right now and call David. Seriously, with this Brexit vote, mortgage rates are unbelievably low. So call him today, 312-751-1333, or visit am560david.com. David helped me, and he's helped thousands of AM560 listeners, but guess what? He can't help you if you don't call. 312-751-1333. That's 312-751-1333, or visit am560david.com. Pearl Mortgage, an equal housing lender, Illinois residential mortgage licensee, 4358 NMLS 19186. Coming up on Chicago's Morning Answer.
George Will says the Republican Party left him. He didn't leave it. You agree? We'll take your calls at 6:36.
And then an unbelievable Mayor Emanuel story that you're going to have to hear to believe. But first, into the newsroom we go. Here is Mike Scott.
Sunny skies, and we have 72 degrees. 6:32 is our time. The British pound this morning, worth less than it's been in more than 30 years. The British currency falling to a 31-year low, just over $1.32 to the dollar after Brexit. Wall Street stumbles into the new week after a free fall on Friday. U.S. joining global markets that fell hard and fast. Hundreds of passengers and crew members are breathing sighs of relief today after the plane they were on burst into flames following an emergency landing in Singapore. Boeing 777 was en route to Italy when an engine oil warning light forced it to turn back. The 240 on board were forced to stay put until emergency crews could put that fire out. Donald Trump returned home from Scotland over the weekend to some new polling numbers. The Washington Post ABC News poll has the presumptive Democratic nominee Hillary Clinton leading Trump 51 to 39%. It's a poll that Trump is dismissing, and Trump campaign manager Paul Manafort on NBC's Meet the Press says there are major announcements in the next coming days.
This week we'll be making some major announcements of people who are taking over in major positions in our national campaign as well as in our state campaigns. We're organized in all 16 states that we're going to be targeting as battleground states.
Hillary Clinton slamming Trump following his comments on the Britain decision to leave the EU.
No one should be confused about America's commitment to Europe. Not an autocrat in the Kremlin, not a presidential candidate on a Scottish golf course.
West Virginians aren't breathing easy yet. Following devastating flooding, waters are beginning to recede, and what is left behind, according to Senator Joe Manchin, is heartbreaking in West Virginia.
We still have 24 confirmed dead, and we still have about 5 unaccounted for, and it could be more, but just our hearts and prayers go out to them.
The National Weather Service issuing a flash flood watch for this evening. It comes as the state is reeling from the deaths of 25 now confirmed. 10 police officers in a Chicago suburb are suing the town. It's a federal lawsuit filed after they claim body cameras they wore never turned off and recorded them in the restroom and changing clothes. An investigation is underway after a suspected armed robber was shot and killed by police in Dalton. And Governor Bruce Rauner signs legislation regarding state-issued IDs. That proposal will put Illinois in compliance with federal Real ID Act minimum standards for driver's licenses. Chicago sports. Cubs suffer a loss to the Marlins. White Sox beat Toronto. Chile wins Copa America over Argentina. The news, a service of Napa Auto Parts. With more than 400,000 quality parts and 90 years of experience, Napa can help you keep just about anything on the road. So stop by your local Napa Auto Parts store and keep it running longer, stronger with Napa know-how. 6:35 is our time. A check of traffic and weather on the way next on AM 560.
Hi, I'm Carl Deichler, the CEO of Beachbody, and I'm here to tell you about an amazing new way you can start losing weight for free right now. You've probably seen our workout DVDs on TV like P90X, Insanity, and 21 Day Fix. We just launched a beta trial of our new digital video platform, Beachbody On Demand. So while we're testing out this new digital video service, I'm inviting you to use it for free for 30 days. That means you can lose 10 pounds, 20 pounds, even 30 pounds without paying a dime. Text the word TRIAL to 303030, and you can do 30 days of P90X, Insanity, or any of over 400 workouts for free. Now here's the catch. In return, all I ask is you let us know what you think of the service so we can make Beachbody On Demand the best fitness and weight loss site ever created. Just text TRIAL to 303030 and get started for free right now. Again, text TRIAL to 303030.
Message and data rates may apply. Membership fees apply after 30-day free trial. Cancel anytime.
LiveWatch helps you connect and respond up to 10 times faster in an emergency. LiveWatch has no long-term contracts. Save up to 50% off home security. Call 855-LiveWatch or visit livewatch.com.
I am so glad I did it. I'm just mad at myself for waiting so long. Hi, Amy Jacobson here for CertaPro Painters. You know, our front porch had chipping and peeling. It looked old and run down, but thanks to CertaPro Painters, it looks brand new again. And trust me, my neighbors are happy I did it. And you know, it's not too late to book that painting project. But don't wait. Be sure to get on CertaPro Painters' summer painting schedule today. Call 800-GO-CERTA or visit CertaPro.com. That's Certa with a C. You know, CertaPro Painters will work around your busy schedule to get your home looking picture perfect for all your summer entertaining. That's why CertaPro Painters says we do painting, you do life. Each CertaPro Painters business is independently owned and operated. Whether it's residential or commercial, interior or exterior, it's not too late to get that painting project off your to-do list. Call now, 1-800-GO-CERTA, 1-800-GOCERTA, or visit CertaPro.com today.
So this is the last.
6:37. Let's get an update on the roads and our Guardian Security Services Traffic Center with Jim. Chicago's Morning Answer continues next. We'll get back to Jim in just a moment. Your official Chicagoland weather forecast from the AirComfort.com Weather Center. AirComfort.com providing the right climate for business since 1935. Sunny, warm, less humid, high 89. Partly cloudy, 61 overnight. Cooler and a pleasant day ahead tomorrow. Nice break from the heat, high 72. At 6:38, let's get a quick update on the roads. Jim Telemonte. Go ahead, Jim.
Thanks, Mike. Metro has delays on the Milwaukee North Line. There's a mechanical problem with a train. It stopped in Glenview. The Edens is 25 minutes. Lake Cook to Montrose outbound 21. The Kennedy now 35 minutes. O'Hare to downtown outbound 45. The Ike 50 minutes. Thorndale to downtown outbound 43. The Stevenson is an hour and 10 minutes. 3:55 to Lakeshore Drive. The Rhine 30 minutes. 95th to the Loop. Traffic answers when you need them most. I'm Jim Talamonte, AM 560. The Answer.
We have a sunny start to your Monday. 69 at O'Hare, 75 along the lakefront, 68 in Aurora.
This hourly segment is brought to you by Advanced Planning Advisors, bringing you Smart Money Talk with Mike Moylan and Rob Curvin, Saturday mornings at 6.
Dan and Amy. So over the weekend on Fox News Sunday, George Will, one of the panelists with Chris Wallace, and before they got into a discussion of Brexit, they I wanted to talk a little bit about George Will's revelation. Now, we've had George Will on the show a number of times.
Oh, yeah. Huge Cubs fan.
Huge Cubs fan. Not a huge Trump fan.
No, never has been.
He's in the never Trump camp, and now he's in the independent camp. He announced kind of in passing at a Federalist Society event that he had switched his registration about 3 weeks ago in Maryland from Republican to independent or unaffiliated. And he explained why he did that to Chris Wallace.
I left it for the same reason I joined it in 1964 when I voted for Barry Goldwater. I joined it because I was a conservative. I leave for the same reason that I'm a conservative. Give you a timeline. Shortly after Trump became the presumptive nominee, he had a summit meeting with Paul Ryan where they stressed their common principles and their vast shared ground, which is much more important than their differences. I thought that was puzzling, doubly so because Paul Ryan still didn't endorse him. After Trump went after the Mexican judge from northern Indiana, then Paul Ryan endorsed him. And I decided that, in fact, this is not my party anymore. I changed my registration to unaffiliated 23 days ago. I hardly made an announcement. I just mentioned this in a meeting with the Federalist Society. So the long and the short of it is, as Ronald Reagan said when he changed his registration, I did not leave the Democratic Party. The Democratic Party left me.
Yeah, but the big question is, who's next? 312-642-5600. Who's going to make this proclamation? Who's going to drop the Republican Party and re-register as an independent?
I don't think you're going to have a lot of seismic events along these lines, and to the extent this is a seismic event, which I don't think it is, not in terms of electoral impact, but perhaps in terms of intellectual leadership. I guess my question would be, is there anything with respect to the nomination of a candidate for a particular office, even the presidency, any event that would cause you to leave the party to which you affiliate? I mean, if I was going to leave the Republican Party for every terrible candidate, for example, at the statewide level that we've had in Illinois, I would have left decades ago. So, I mean, a terrible candidate, like embarrassing terrible candidate, not just, it's a good person and a good conservative, a principled person, but just turns out to be a bad candidate. No, I mean kind of people that were amoral deal makers, enemies inside our perimeter, destroying the party from within, who were nominees for statewide office in this party, in this state, in the Republican Party in the state since my time, actively participating, which is about the last 20 years. So, gosh, I could see the argument for saying, well, I'm not going to vote for Trump for these reasons, although I think there are some pretty compelling reasons, and George Will understands this as well as anybody does, that elections are exercises of moral relativism. I think there are some pretty compelling reasons to vote for Trump or just to vote against Hillary, but vote for Trump just to vote against Hillary with respect to Supreme Court nominees, with respect to constitutional rights that are under assault, like your right to keep and bear arms. I think there's reason to say, well, Trump at least gives me upside potential, even if I don't believe him, whereas I believe Hillary and there's no upside potential there. So,
but don't you think he's dangerously unstable? And he's not presidential. And I know people did.
Are we talking about him or Hillary?
No, I'm talking about Donald Trump. I mean, when he landed in Scotland to talk, we thought, this is his moment to shine, to be, a world leader. And he talked about his golf course for the first 6 minutes and 21 seconds.
A lot of people think this will be the greatest par 3 anywhere in the world.
And then until after reporters asked him about the Brexit vote, then he talked about it. He, tried to take not too much responsibility for it.
Do you think anything you said in the United States influenced voters here in Britain when it comes to leaving the EU?
If I said yes, total influence, they'd all say, that's terrible. His ego is terrible, right? So I will never say that, Tom. But my opinion is that what happened should have happened. They'll control their country and they'll control everything about their country.
What's unbalanced about that statement?
I just that he waited so long to even bring it up because he was talking about his golf course, selling his product.
I think you're nitpicking. He commented on Brexit and he made cogent comments on Brexit. I mean, if he's doing a little shucking and jiving about his golf course, I understand that's maybe not the way you or I would lead into a momentous event like voting to leave the EU. But the comments he made on Brexit were not outside the bounds of kind of propriety or thoughtfulness or legitimacy. I just don't see it. And so George Will's position is difficult for me. I mean, you're going to leave the party over Donald Trump. The idea, I had some concerns early on that about Trump and this whole thing. Is he some kind of authoritarian? But he's running against a real authoritarian, and he's running who's running to replace a real authoritarian tendencies. I think Trump is a bit of a demagogue. I think he's a bit of a huckster. I don't trust him for a range of reasons on a range of issues, and he's proven himself on those matters, in my opinion. And I think there's a pretty substantial evidentiary case. But again, the choice is the choice. And so not only to say I'm going to absolve myself of that choice, to take the C.S. Lewis position, to say when confronted with two iterations of evil, walk through the middle, don't adopt either one, okay. But to leave the party over Trump, I think that's a bit melodramatic. I really do. The party can survive Donald Trump. Now, the flip side is to say, well, George Will or anybody else wants to go start their own party or go start a conservative version of the Republican Party and bring people over. I mean, the Republican Party hasn't existed since the country's founding. It's been existed since 1854. Mm-hmm. So parties can come and go. The prospect of the Republican Party dissipating into the ether over Trump, the prospect of the Democrat Party dissipating into the ether over Hillary being indicted, I think is relatively minimal.
I have a suggestion. We should start the Proft Party. Don't you think?
Yes, we can hold the meetings in a telephone booth if they still existed. Dennis and Crystal Lake. Dennis and Crystal Lake, you're on Chicago's Morning Answer. Dennis.
Oh, that's okay if we can't get to that.
Dennis. All right, we're going to put you on hold, Dennis, and try and find you again. Kent in Lincoln Park.
Hey, good morning, guys. I'm completely, baffled by people like George Will, Jonah Goldberg, and Bill Kristol. These guys, with Mitt Romney, he had Obamacare basically in Massachusetts when he was governor. You had McCain, who was part of the Gang of Eight. These guys never complained about those guys. Those guys are the farthest thing from a conservative you could ever find, but yet all of a sudden, the code word they keep using is conservative. They're crazy, They become completely irrelevant because of their infantile behavior. And the point I wanted to make about him making the comment, Donald Trump, that is, late into the speech, he wasn't there for that. And I know everybody wants him to live and breathe running for president, but he is a businessman. And that's the way it goes. He's a businessman, and he's running for president. So
he's an entertainer, too.
About it, I guess it is what it is.
Thanks for the call, Ken.
He has fans. He's a movie star. I mean, he's a celebrity.
By the way, Trump responded to Will's proclamation via Twitter, and then Will had the chance to respond on Chris Wallace's show.
Not surprisingly, Donald Trump has tweeted his reaction to this news today. Let's put it up on the screen. He says that you are overrated and that you lost your way a long time ago. Would you like to respond, Mr. Trump?
He has an advantage on me because he can say everything he knows about any subject in 140 characters, and I can't.
All right.
Zing!
Booyah!
Ed in Valpo,
awesome.
You're on Chicago's Morning Answer.
Oh, that's great.
Hey, Ed.
Hello?
Ed, you're on.
Yes, good morning.
Good morning.
Say, who cares about George Will, really? I mean...
The George Will?
What's wrong? The media needs to quit spending their time on these negative people that do nothing. I mean, seriously. I'm sick of listening to the media and talking about Hillary and the do-nothing Trumpers and all this, stop him. I don't get it. What's wrong with everybody?
All kinds of stuff. Thanks for the call, Ed.
It's not only George. I mean, Mitch McConnell was on with George Stephanopoulos, not fully supporting Donald Trump, not saying that he's qualified to be president.
Well, I mean, I go back to the question, just in terms of set a baseline. No, the question, is there a candidate who would be nominated where you would say, well, not only am I not going to vote for him, I'm going to leave the party altogether. That to me seems drastic, the second part of that. Dennis and Crystal Lake will try again.
Hey, Dan.
Hey.
Call again, Amy. Your true colors show out. I don't care if Harry Potter's father leaves the party and a guy sipping through a straw, Amy, his food doesn't really matter with me, with McConnell. And you say Trump isn't presidential? Oh, I'm sorry. Hillary Clinton basically lying in front of Congress about Benghazi. Hillary Clinton lying about being a sniper at in Bosnia. Hillary Clinton lying to the families next to their caskets. This broad is a moron.
Thanks for the call, Dennis. All right. And the exclamation, Georgia Moni.
Hey, Dan, you hit the nail on the head, man. What do you call the Republican Party can survive Donald Trump. I mean, it survived John McCain. It survived Mark Kirk, okay? But the country cannot survive. The Supreme Court cannot survive Hillary. That's going to do us in, man. It'll be over.
Thanks, George.
The George Will?
It's news, opinion, insight. This is Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560. The Answer.
Coming up on Chicago's Morning Answer, what class did Dan Proft get a B+ in? But first, here's your forecast. Plenty of sunshine today. Less humid, just an absolutely gorgeous summer day, a high of 89 degrees. Then tomorrow, a little bit cooler, but we'll still have plenty of sunshine, a few patchy clouds, a high of 72. Any drama on the roadways? And Jim Telemonte, I hope you got straight A's. Did you?
I can't say that I did, Amy. I tried. On the Edens Expressway inbound, you got delays starting at 2E, 25 minutes. Light Cook to Montrose. Drama acting class was an ugly C in college. Edens outbound, slow Montrose to Cicero, 21 minutes Montrose to Lake Cook. The Kennedy, 35 minutes, O'Hare to downtown, outbound 45. The Eisenhower, 50 minutes, Thorndale to downtown, outbound 43. Stevenson's heavy, and there's a crash before First Avenue on the right shoulder. There's an hour and 10 minutes, 355 to Lakeshore Drive, outbound 40 minutes. Ryan, 35 minutes, 95th to downtown. Northbound Tri-State, slow in pockets from Archer to 47th and Roosevelt to the Grand Avenue curve. Slow on the Reagan Tollway, 31 to Eola, 53 to 355. Then from Highland all the way to the Tri-State. I'm Jim Talamonte in the Guardian Security Services Traffic Center.
Hey, business owners, I want you to stop and think about the one part of your organization that you simply cannot live without. What comes to mind? Your employees, your location, your customers? How about your technology? Let's face it, everything rests on your network running smoothly and efficiently. And that's where Turnkey IT comes in. They understand the value of your network and the critical role it plays in your company. Guess what? They'll keep your network up and running and resolve any problems, even on the weekends, so you can focus on the important things. Turnkey IT's team of professionals will respond to you quickly. They won't roll their eyes when you ask them questions or try to dazzle you with confusing technical jargon. So this spring, Turnkey IT is offering a free security audit. Even if you have an IT guy, this free security audit will help you understand if they're keeping your data safe from viruses and hackers. So visit turnkey.pro today to schedule your free security audit and mention that Amy sent you. That's turnkey.pro, turnkey.pro.
I'm Val Diorin for Lou Dobbs. Starting the week with Brexit jitters, Chicago loses the proposed George Lucas Museum and a contract settlement is near at United Airlines. Those stories next.
Bill Bennett here to tell you about Augusta Precious Metals. What if you could store your IRA or 401k where you can see, touch, and hold it in person in the form of physical gold and silver coins? I know I would, and you can't do that with stocks. With the Augusta Gold and Silver IRA, you can transfer retirement savings into physical coins and store them where you can actually see them. Free shipping, zero management fees, and Augusta pays all upfront costs. Getting started is absolutely free. Rated A+ with the Better Business Bureau, enjoys a 98% 5-star customer satisfaction rating with TrustLink.org. Trust Augusta. Call toll-free 1-855-222-6993 now for your free guide to Augusta Gold IRAs. Call toll-free 1-855-222-6993. That's 1-855-222-6993 or visit AugustaPreciousMetals.com.
Investors are holding their breath as the market starts a new week today after Friday's roller coaster ride here at home and on international stock exchanges in the wake of last week's Brexit vote. United Airlines has a tentative contract with 25,000 flight attendants. Final language is still being worked out, but if approved, members of the Association of Flight Attendants from both United and Continental could staff flights on either of their merged airlines. Chicago has lost out in competition for a museum dedicated to filmmaker George Lucas. The Hollywood icon says he's weary of red tape and lawsuits surrounding the $1.5 billion project. So he told Mayor Rahm Emanuel that he'll build the museum in another city. Please join us for Lou Dobbs tonight at 7 and 11 Eastern on the Fox Business Network. This is the Lou Dobbs Financial Report.
I have struggled with irritable bowel syndrome for 40 years. Really struggled with it. And I want you to know that since I have been taking Balance of Nature, I don't have it anymore. After 40 years, I'm 75 years old, and after 40 years of struggling with this and, early on taking all kinds of medication and this, that, and the other thing, back in October, I was able to cancel my appointment with the gastroenterologist. Your products have made my life. They have improved the quality of my life so tremendously. I can't be grateful enough. So please thank you all, and please, if you ever have a chance to, please thank Dr. Howard.
Good health is just a phone call away. What are you waiting for? Call now and take the health challenge to get a free month's supply of Balance of Nature. Call 1-800-2468-751. That's 1-800-2468-751. Or go online to balanceofnature.com. Use promo code CHICAGO.
On AM 560 The Answer, we talk about the important issues that affect your world. Things like the economy, education, and foreign policy. There's always so much going on in the news that we don't always have the time to focus in and talk about the big ideas behind the important issues. Enter Upstream Ideas online at upstream-ideas.com. Upstream Ideas, in partnership with the Illinois Policy Institute, provides the kind of information that informs the policy discussions happening here on AM 560. At Upstream Ideas, you'll broaden the debate, move beyond partisan assumptions, and challenge accepted beliefs. Upstream Ideas goes against the current and thinks upstream. Go online now at upstream-ideas.com. That's upstream-ideas.com. You'll be armed with new information and fresh perspectives to help encourage you to make the state of Illinois and the United States of America a bit freer, a bit more just, and a bit more civilized. Upstream-ideas.com.
AM 560, The Answer.
Okay, what class did you get a B+ in?
I don't want to talk about it. I was 4 years old. It was advanced calculus, arbitrary points and slopes and tangent lines. Quickly, the mayor of Sanford, Florida, was carjacked while he was standing outside his home early Saturday morning. Mayor Jeff Triplett, standing in front of his home, three men approached him. Two of the men pointed a gun and stole his car keys. You know why this is an important story?
They didn't know that he was the mayor.
Sanford, Florida. Ring a bell?
Yeah. Trayvon Martin.
Right.
Yeah.
Maybe George Zimmerman was right about one thing. They do need a neighborhood watch there.
The U.S. Senior and Women's Open, the BMW Championship, the Chicago Half Marathon, NASCAR racing, the Blackhawks Parade, so many festivals and special events. And they all have one thing in common: Master Fence Rental. Master Fence Rental provides professional fence rental services throughout all phases of your construction project, special event, or emergency situation, along with prompt delivery and expert installation. These are the guys to call when you need to maintain temporary safety and security at your site. Master Fence Rental is ready right now for your next big event or building project with chain link fences, fence panels, and pedestrian barricades that are uniquely designed and built to be sturdy, safe, and attractive with easy installation and takedown. Event planners, show producers, contractors, request a free quote today and get ready to work with the temporary fence pros. Master Fence. Call 866-622-0822. 866-622-0822 or online, masterfencerental.com. Get ready for the event of the summer, the Lyle Eyes to the Skies Festival, July 1st through 3rd. If you had to pick only one festival this summer, this is the one you and your family can't miss. The Lyle Eyes to the Skies Festival has been entertaining folks for over 30 years with morning and evening balloon launches, balloon glows, nightly fireworks, and live music on 2 stages. Plus, there's a carnival with rides, craft fair, a huge kids area, and over 50 unique food vendors. Ever wondered what riding in a hot air balloon feels like, but maybe a bit nervous? Try a tethered balloon ride. The balloons are tied off to the field and go up between 50 and 100 feet in the air. Take some amazing pictures from this incredible view. Make plans now for the Lyle Eyes to the Skies Festival, July 1st through 3rd. Admission is just $8 each day with kids under 6 free. Go to eyes-to-the-skies.org for special discounts for military on July 3rd and for locations of free parking and shuttle service. That's eyes-to-the-skies.org. You can also get the complete balloon launch schedule and all the info you'll need for an awesome weekend. Don't miss the Lyle Eyes to the Skies Festival, July 1st through 3rd.
Coming up on Chicago's Morning Answer.
Happy Independence Day, says Ambassador John Bolton about Brexit. We'll discuss that in further detail with him, as well as get his insights on the attack in Somalia by al-Shabaab over the weekend.
And I'm so glad I got a pedicure. Dick Morris joining us at 7:37. But first, into the newsroom we go. Here is Mike Scott.
Amy and Dan, a suspected armed robber shot and killed by police in Dalton. We'll have an update on that story for you. A bicyclist killed by a freight train in Chicago. The Real ID compliance bill finally signed by Illinois Governor Bruce Rauner. Marlins crushed the Cubs while Chris Sale and the White Sox win again. Sunny, warm, and humid in your forecast. WIND Chicago News Time, 7 o'clock.
Fox News Radio. I'm Dave Anthony. She says she'll get by.
1 minute at a time.
Diana Sanders lost her house with her husband in it in the West Virginia flooding.
I got good friends. I got wonderful family up here.
He was among the 25 people killed when parts of the state got inundated. Some areas are still underwater.
It tore us apart. We have no home. We've lost everything.
And there's more rain forecast, putting at least 20 West Virginia counties under additional flood threat. A wildfire that killed at least 2 people is now 40% contained around Lake Isabella, California. It burned down 200 homes. Another sell-off looming on Wall Street. Futures are down as markets fall again in Europe on the British vote to exit the European Union. Fox's Simon Owens live in London.
Dave, British Finance Minister George Osborne attempting to reassure investors, but he didn't sound particularly reassuring.
Our economy is about as strong as it could be to confront the challenge our country now faces.
Exit campaigners like Conservative lawmaker Boris Johnson insisting things will calm down.
Pound is stable, the markets are stable, and I think that's all very good news.
The British pound this morning hitting a 31-year low against the dollar, Dave.
Simon, Supreme Court justices may be ready to take their summer break. Their final rulings this term are expected this morning. Fox's Jared Halpern live in Washington.
The court's first major abortion challenge in 2 decades is expected. A Texas law put on hold by the court would significantly reduce the number of clinics in the state allowed to perform abortions. Should the justices split 4-4, most of that law would be allowed to go forward. Former Virginia Governor Bob McDonnell's fate also comes down to the court's final day of this term. He challenged a public corruption conviction for accepting gifts during his time in office. Dave.
Jared, a lot of Americans are planning to travel the 4th of July weekend. A record 43 million of us, according to AAA. Most will drive, paying cheaper gas prices than last year. Fox News Radio. Fair and balanced.
Mostly sunny and 70 degrees. It is 7:02 on AM 560. The Answer. Good morning. I'm Mike Scott. 10 police officers in a Chicago suburb are suing the town, claiming those new body cameras that they wore never turned off and recorded them in the restroom and changing clothes. Part of a federal lawsuit filed against Round Lake Park by the officers who are seeking $100,000 each. Charges are pending after 2 people were shot by an off-duty Cook County Sheriff's deputy near Marquette Park. Police say the deputy saw the teenage boy and man begin shooting inside a vehicle last night on the city's southwest side. The officer then fired his own weapon at the suspects. Both are hospitalized in good condition. A bicyclist is dead, struck by a freight train on Chicago's southwest side. Fire officials say the accident happened last night while the man was riding near 59th and Narragansett. The incident is under investigation. Some $2 billion in road construction projects will be shut down July 1 without a state budget agreement. IDOT data shows that collectively work on the 19 largest projects is less than halfway done in terms of money spent. Governor Bruce Rauner is signing legislation regarding state-issued IDs. The proposal aims to put Illinois in compliance with the federal Real ID Act by creating minimum standards for licenses. In January, the feds gave the state about 2 years to comply with that act. Cubs suffer a loss to the Marlins in the finale of a 4-game set in Miami. White Sox beat Toronto 5-2. Copa America Chile beats Argentina. Messi misses in that shootout and says because of that he'll quit the Argentina national team. The news service of Burger King's classic grilled dogs. Get to Burger King July 2nd and 3rd and try a classic grilled dog for just $1. All you have to do to get the $1 deal is go to Burger King and ask for the $1 deal on the classic grilled dog. At participating Burger King restaurants Limit 5 per transaction while supplies last. 7:04 and a check of traffic and weather on the way next on AM 560.
You're unique, so why is your mattress one size fits all? Because a custom mattress costs thousands, until now. Hi, I'm Christian von Rickenbach, founder of HelixSleep.com, where you can buy a mattress online, customized for you, for hundreds of dollars instead of thousands. Go to HelixSleep.com, answer a few simple questions, and we build you the most comfortable mattress you'll ever sleep on. Shipping is free, and you have 100 nights to try it out. Go to HelixSleep.com/try now and get $50 off your order. HelixSleep.com/try now.
You don't have to be a retail giant or government agency to be the victim of a costly data breach. If you run a website and collect customer data, your small to mid-sized business is just as likely to be targeted by hackers. The Barracuda Web Application Firewall provides cost-effective instant security against automated and targeted attacks, making this WAF a must-have for your SMB. Reclaim your network. Try a Barracuda Web App Firewall risk-free at barracuda.com/WAF.
Raise your hand if you think you know what identity theft is. Just kidding. This is a radio commercial. We can't tell if your hand is up. But we can tell you that if you think identity theft is when someone adds charges to your credit card, you're only partially right. Identity theft is when someone pretends to be you, to open new accounts in your name, or any number of other bad things. That's where LifeLock can help. We use proprietary technology to detect and alert you to a whole range of identity threats. And if you have a problem, our US-based team of specialists will work to fix it. You'll get more protection with LifeLock than you get from free credit monitoring alone. Obviously, no one can prevent all identity theft or monitor all transactions at all businesses, but LifeLock is the best identity theft protection available. Join LifeLock right now and get a special 15% discount off your first year. Visit LifeLock.com and use promo code FREEDOM15. That's FREEDOM15 to take advantage of an incredible 15% discount off your first year. Act now. Offer ends July 3rd. Go to LifeLock.com and enter promo code FREEDOM15. LifeLock.
7:06. Let's get an update on your ride to work this morning in our Guardian Security Services Traffic Center. Here's Jim Talamonte.
Thanks, Mike. On the inbound 8-inch delay, start around Devon. It's 25 minutes. Lake Cook to Montrose, outbound 21. The Kennedy is 40 minutes now. O'Hare to downtown, 20 from Montrose, 12 on the Express. Outbound 50 minutes to the airport. The Eisenhower, 55 minutes. Thorndale to the post office, and 38 from Manheim. Outbound 43 to Thorndale. Stevenson, an hour and 5 minutes. 3:55 to Lakeshore Drive. Outbound 40 minutes. Pride, 35 minutes, 95th to downtown. Northbound Tri-State. Stop and go 111th to 47th and Roosevelt to Grand Avenue. Eastbound Adams Tollway heavy 59 to 53. Reagan Tollway 31 to Eola and Myers to the Tri-State. Veterans Memorial still Boughton to the Reagan Tollway. Butterfield to Roosevelt and from the Army Trail Toll to 290. Traffic answers when you need them most. I'm Jim Talamonte on AM 560. The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer continues next. Your official Chicagoland weather forecast from the AirComfort.com Weather Center. Here's meteorologist Kevin Snyder.
Today, mostly sunny, warm, and less humid. High 89. Tonight, partly cloudy, low 61. Cooler tomorrow with sunshine and patchy clouds. High of 72. I'm Kevin Snyder on AM 560, The Answer.
69 at O'Hare, 74 along the lakefront. Next news coming up at 7:30. Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues next on AM 560, The Answer.
This hourly segment is brought to you by Turnkey IT, giving you the freedom to focus on your business while they handle the technical stuff. Turnkey IT.
Good morning. Welcome to your Monday morning briefing. Here's what you need to know to start your day.
It is a reminder that while we have made progress on marriage equality, we've made progress on repealing Don't Ask, Don't Tell, there is hate in the world.
Just as we have seen, there are many frustrated people in Britain. We know there are frustrated people here at home, too.
The origins of the EU and how the idea, a very utopian idea and successful for a while, was corrupted.
This is Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan Proft and Amy Jacobson on AM 560. The Answer.
Good morning, Dan and Amy. And I got to say, I am really struck by the differing reactions over the weekend. People have had some time to let the Brexit vote sink in. The differing reactions from conservative intellectuals as compared to liberal intellectuals. Stephen Hayward has a great piece in Powerline blog, Brexit, the gift that will keep on giving. And he makes an interesting observation to highlight the hypocrisy of the left, saying, odd, isn't it, that liberals suddenly care more about Wall Street than they do about the workers in the union halls. Because it wasn't Wall Street that voted to leave the EU. It was, at least part of the coalition, the workers in those union halls. And where is the left, their putative protector, when it comes to voters choosing self-determination, voters they like to count among their constituents? Well, I think Christiane Amanpour, she explained the perspective of the left, as she is a person of the left. This is their explanation, nicely encapsulated in Amanpour's report about both what the motivation was and who was repudiated. As to the motivation, this is the only thing the left could conceive as the reason that people wouldn't listen to their enlightened perspective on the matter.
And what we're hearing, certainly from people who are worried precisely about this, is that they feel that this marks a victory for the kind of economic nationalism, to quote this article here, for the kind of xenophobia that will imperil the liberal world order that has guaranteed Western prosperity and stability since World War II.
Yeah, well, it's funny because I'm reading from some experts, reading their opinions about Brexit. Brian Westbury, who's an accomplished free market economist. The bottom line is that investors should ignore scare stories about what would happen if Brexit wins. That is also echoed by Larry Kudlow, noted economist. Britain will regain its political freedom, its autonomous self-government, and its independence from a European Union spinning out of control under the power of establishment elites. And foreign policy experts like our guest, John Bolton, who's celebrating June 23rd, last Thursday, as British Independence Day. But those aren't the experts that matter. And I just want you to hear the rest of Amanpour's report, because these are the experts that matter, the people that on the left that tell you what to do and how to think. And if you cross them, even if you're a loyal voter of the left, even if you're a loyal constituent of the left, they're having none of it.
Brexit has been peddled on an illusion. This is The Economist now. And that when reality interfaces with Brexit, it is going to make Britain, certainly in the short term, poorer, less innovative, less strong, going, as some people say, from Great Britain to Little England. So this is a moment of destiny that many, many people, the overwhelming preponderance of experts and independent analysts and allies of the UK and the scientists and the academics and the economists and the business and even the sports people, the overwhelming majority said, stay in the EU. The people wanted to do something different.
How could you not listen to David Beckham when it comes to matters such as these?
I know, sports people.
By the way, speaking of political novices being elevated at the expense of the experts, in Iceland, they had to replace their president, and a 40-something political novice history professor is the new president of Iceland. Seems like there's a real repudiation of the experts, not because you necessarily lack respect for their expertise in a chosen field of endeavor, but because you lack respect for them telling you how to think and live your lives. And it seems to me that was part of the repudiation with that vote on Thursday. But for more on this, we're now joined by the aforementioned former ambassador, U.S. ambassador to the UN, John Bolton. Ambassador Bolton, thanks for joining us again. Appreciate it.
Good morning. Glad to be with you.
Well, and so in your piece in the Boston Globe entitled Brexit Victory is a True Populist Revolt, you're positively celebratory, saying we should welcome Britain's departure from the EU. Happy Independence Day. Why are you saying that? Didn't you hear that all the left-wing experts say you're wrong?
Well, I think it's because the experts, it's not a rejection of their expertise, it's a rejection of their religion. And their religion is a religion of global governance. On a continental scale, at the European level, the European Union is the element of their theology. And they simply cannot understand why anybody wouldn't want to live under a supranational government. So when people say, actually, we believe in self-government, not government by distant, unaccountable, opaque bureaucracies, these people just don't get it. And I think a lot of the negative reaction you're seeing in financial markets today comes from two basic reasons. Number one, all these financial geniuses made their investment decisions based on the theology. The peasants surely could not reject the European Union. And when they did, it's not the mistake of voting for Brexit that's causing this downturn. It's the mistake of the financial geniuses who didn't see it coming, number one. And number two, because they can't conceive of life outside the European Union, they think the consequence of Brexit has to be doom and gloom. And so now they're pessimistic about the future. Whereas, in fact, once Britain breaks free and can pursue its own economic policies, it can slash taxes, cut regulations, be open to foreign investment. You could see a real rebirth of the British economy. And not to go on too long, but here's one more point. Both on Friday and so far today, at least so far today, although the UK stock markets and the value of the pound are down, continental European stock markets in France and Germany and elsewhere are down even more. And what that tells you is what they're really worried about is not the fate of Britain once it leaves the European Union. They're worried about the European Union itself, and they should be, because there is enormous dissatisfaction all across the EU from populations, many of the same reasons that the British voters had. This is a failed idea. It's not that trade is a failed idea. It's not that commerce, investment, travel across Europe are a failed idea. What the failed idea is the institutions of European governance. That's what the Brits rejected, and that's what many people across Europe are on the process of trying to figure out how to reject as well.
Was there any solid aspect of the EU or the UK being in the EU? Was there one benefit for the people of Great Britain?
Look, at its origins, and for some period of time after that, the notion that the EU would be primarily a free trade area was a good idea, and everybody benefited from bringing down tariff and non-tariff barriers to trade. But honestly, the economic free trade area was never the central objective of the EU's founders. Their objective primarily was always political. They wanted to create the European superstate. They believed that it was the nation state that was the cause of war on the continent of Europe in the 20th century, so they wanted to eliminate the nation state. In fact, it wasn't the nation state that was a problem. Great Britain never had a problem as a nation state. It was totalitarian ideology, the Nazis, the fascists, the communists, that caused turmoil and conflict in Europe. But the EU's guiding intellectuals never saw that, and so their view was you need to get rid of these national governments, and by the way, these national characters and histories and so on, and replace it by one Europe. And that is what is under challenge here.
Yeah, and that's what roused the likes of former London Mayor Boris Johnson to support Leave. He wrote an op-ed over the weekend saying, I believe that the millions of people who voted Leave were also inspired by the belief that Britain is a great country and that outside the job-destroying coils of EU bureaucracy, we can survive and thrive as never before, while, also trying to kind of tamp down some of the hysteria being caused by those who didn't see this coming because they've got those blinders on. But that's the point. And so when you hear the reports about this as some kind of nationalist sentiment and that's supposed to be received with a negative connotation, it doesn't necessarily have to be a negative connotation. It's not the rise of nationalism a la Nazi Germany, which seems to be some of what is being implied by the left.
Yeah, well, look, I would just describe what happened in Britain as an expression of patriotism and a feeling. I mean, I know this sounds heretical to many people, particularly on the left, but those British people actually think they can govern themselves. Right. Thank you very much. No. They don't need assistance from European bureaucrats in Brussels. And, actually a lot of other people in other European countries think the same thing. There was a poll in Sweden announced on Wednesday before the vote that asked the Swedes, if the British vote to leave the European Union and that option were given to you here in Sweden, how would you vote? A substantial majority of Swedes said they would vote to leave as well.
Wow. So do you see a domino effect happening in places like France, Sweden, other countries backing out of the EU?
Well, I think it's hard to tell exactly what's going to happen at this point. I think in 5 or 10 years there will still be something called the European Union, but I think it's going to look very, very different. And I think Britain's withdrawal also has a very positive effect for the United States in terms of the NATO alliance. I have an op-ed in the New York Post this morning on that point because the European Union, politically and militarily, over the last several decades has been less than the sum of its parts. The European Union is a value-subtracting entity, not a value-adding entity. So I think from the perspective of continental defense and really the broader defense of the North Atlantic area, I think Britain's exit is entirely positive for the United States.
And can't the UK position themselves much like Norway does with the European Union, where you kind of go back to what was originally conceived to be, which is trade agreements, kind of a free trade zone with some autonomy beyond trade? And shouldn't the U.S. do something similar, as immediately engage the UK in kind of bilateral trade agreement?
Yeah, I think Obama was dead wrong when he threatened the Brits when he was over there recently, saying, "You'll go to the back of the queue." By the way, what American ever says it like that? But we should immediately move to negotiate a free trade agreement with Britain. I think we should do whatever we need to do to stand with our ally on this point. And I think there's a potential here for a real revival of the British economy, and America stands to benefit from that.
I want to get your insight on another matter. Over the weekend, another incident of radical Islamic terrorism. This apparently from the al-Qaeda-linked al-Shabaab terrorist group in Somalia, where 14 are reported dead after they stormed a Somali hotel in Mogadishu. And kind of what we should make by the continued existence and activity of lesser players in the arena of radical Islamic terrorism like al-Shabaab?
Well, I think it's a demonstration that the terrorist threat worldwide continues to grow. You know, just because they don't look terrorist, but they're in different groups. There's ISIS, Al-Qaeda, there's Hamas, which is a terrorist group, Hezbollah, Boko Haram, al-Shabaab, with shifting loyalties and allegiances. The fact that it's not one central galactic terror headquarters and enterprise shouldn't make us feel good. The fact is that the tide of terrorism is rising. This is just another example of it. The Obama administration's own director of national intelligence testified openly before Congress some months ago that the terrorist threat is equal to or greater than what it was before 9/11. The Obama administration and Hillary Clinton are still living in a dream world on that. And I think this is something that's got to be at the center of the debate as we head toward November here.
All right. He is former U.S. Ambassador to the UN, John Bolton, now a senior fellow at the American Enterprise Institute, has a couple of good op-eds the last few days, one in the Boston Globe on Brexit, and one in the New York Post today, as you mentioned, on Brexit as well, in part. Ambassador Bolton, thanks for joining us again. Appreciate it.
Well, thanks so much for having me.
And he joined us on our turnkey Pro answer line.
There's only one radio show in Chicago talking about today's biggest stories and telling you what they really mean. That show is this one, Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560, The Answer.
Coming up next, how you can sign up for a golf outing for microaggression. Did I say that right, Dan? No. Okay, I didn't. Not even close. Oh, a golf outing is a microaggression. Who doesn't want to hear that story? I do. And where can I sign up? So today we're going to have sunny skies if you are playing golf. It will be less humid, just a gorgeous day, a high of 89 degrees. Tonight into the 60s we go. And tomorrow a lot cooler, but pleasant with sunshine, some patchy fog, some high clouds, a high of 72. Anything glorious on the roadways? Here's Jim Delamonte.
Well, it could be worse, could be better, depending on where you are. I mean, right now, the Edens is about 25 minutes. Lake Hook to Montrose, and outbound 22 minutes. The Kennedy, it's improved a slight bit, 35 minutes. O'Hare to downtown, but outbound 55. The Eisenhower's a 58-minute drive. Thorndale to downtown, outbound 48. Crash past Pulaski in the right lane. Stevenson running an hour and 5 minutes, 3:55 to Lakeshore Drive, outbound 40 minutes. The Ryan 35 minutes, 95th to downtown. Tri-State northbound, stop and go 111th to 47th, and Roosevelt to Grand Avenue. Eastbound Adams Tollway slow, 59 to 53. Reagan Tollway heavy, Farnsworth to 59, and Myers to the Veterans Memorial. Stop and go from Boughton most of the way to Roosevelt, and from the Army Trail toll to 290. Jim Talamonte, the Guardian Security Services Traffic Center.
When you hear the word chiller, the first thing that pops into your mind may be a frozen drink from your favorite convenience store. If you run a business or you're a maintenance engineer, you know of a different kind of chiller, the mechanical one that keeps you, your employees, and customers cool in the summer. And with this summer predicted to be hotter than normal, you don't want to get stuck on one of those 90-plus degree days with no AC. Better call Air Comfort and get your chiller tuned up and running at peak performance. A professional inspection can find small problems before they become big problems, and proper maintenance can keep your system from wasting energy and money. Air Comfort will make sure your equipment is clean and obstacle-free. And if your AC is about to or has stopped working, they can install temporary solutions to keep you cool while the long-term fixes are put in place. The key is preventative maintenance, and Air Comfort can help. Schedule a comprehensive assessment of your mechanical system today. Call 708-345-1900 or visit aircomfort.com. Air Comfort, providing the right climate for business since 1935.
Banks have been foreclosing on people's homes at an unprecedented rate. Enough is enough. It's time to fight back and level the playing field. The attorneys of Bridges & O and Associates have an intense understanding of foreclosure law. Experienced attorneys will passionately litigate against and negotiate with your bank for a permanent loan restructuring. They are proud to help educate and protect families, keeping you in your home, reducing your stress, and giving you time to get back on your feet. Don't just sit there and lose your home. They can put you back in control. Get the upper hand when negotiating with your bank with their free evaluation. Then Bridges & O and Associates will develop a plan that will help your family now, 3 months from now, 3 years from now, even 5 years from now. Call 224-513-1231 or visit FightIllinoisForeclosures.com. Get real answers from a real foreclosure defense law firm. 224-513-1231 or FightIllinoisForeclosures.com. Bridges & O and Associates. You have rights. Don't give up your home.
AM 560, The Answer. Your money. Find out how to keep more of it and live debt-free. Tonight on The Dave Ramsey Show, starting at 7 on AM 560, The Answer.
All right. Mamas, don't let your babies grow up to be Tar Heels. I'm sorry, Amy, but Peyton and Eli will not be allowed to go to the University of North Carolina.
Oh, why not this time? Why? My list is getting so long. I ran out of room on my paper.
It's kind of ironic. The University of North Carolina, which is pushing back some of the students, I should say, actually, so it's not so ironic. This is from the administration. Some of the students pushing back against the federally imposed bathroom policy, which is that adult men should be able to go to the bathroom with little girls. Some students at North Carolina suing over that. But with the potential loss of federal funding and scholarship monies at stake.
Right.
But then there's this from the administration, a handout posted on the university's website, explains microaggressions, which don't exist, so you have to conjure them up. And here's why they don't exist. Microaggressions include saying, "I love your shoes" to a woman in leadership, because what you're really saying is, "I notice how you look and dress more than I value your intellectual contribution."
Oh, my gosh.
You know how women hate being complimented on their appearance, Amy, right?
It's the reason why you buy fancy things, so people make comments and make you feel better about yourself. That's why there's shopaholics out there trying to fill that void.
You think I doll myself up every morning because I don't want compliments? I don't think so.
Can I tell you something, Dan?
What?
I really like your shoes.
Thank you very much.
They're kind of, they're mixed between golf shoes and bowling shoes.
I just got them. I just got them at Nordstrom.
I understand.
My personal shopper picked them out for me.
Are they CrossFit or what?
Can
I see the bottom of it?
They're Magnanis.
What? I don't even know what that means.
Neither do I.
Is that a foreign country in Africa? Magnani.
But that's what they are.
All right.
Top of the line stuff,
Mm-hmm. Must be nice to
I
have
like
nice
to look
things.
pretty for people around here, and it's nice to, get a little recognition for the work that I put in. All this, you think this just happens?
Do you really have a shopper at Nordstrom?
I do. Yeah.
Just hate shopping, or you just need somebody to do it for you? You can't make a decision on your own, Dan?
No, I make decisions. I just need it all picked out so I know what to choose from. Otherwise, I would just be wandering aimlessly around the store for hours on end, and I'd give up.
You would still be there.
I mean,
where's Dad? He's at Nordstrom.
I give up.
What's the name of your personal shopper?
Her name is Tanya Stuffman. Yes, Tanya. I highly recommend her.
Hi, Tanya. Think she'd want to help me out? No, I can't go there.
You can only be so lucky. So that's a microaggression.
Yes, right.
I love your shoes.
Do I need? Shh, don't say that.
Right, I'm talking to myself.
Okay.
I guess I just committed a microaggression against myself.
You like
although
my
I'm not a
shit.
woman.
Yeah.
Although sometimes. Christmas vacations. Microaggression. I kind of foreshadowed it.
So you just have to say winter break?
Well, academic calendars and encourage vacations which are organized around major religious observances centralize the Christian faith and diminish non-Christian spiritual rituals and observances. So, I mean, you know, I'm going on Kwanzaa vacation, not a problem. Christmas vacation, whew, those are fighting words. And then lastly, golf outings.
Shit.
Golf outings.
I need my safe space.
I guess we can't have the golf outing at Bolingbrook next year. We're going to have to call it something else. That is
Why?
a microaggression.
Why is golf outing a microaggression?
Because it assumes employees have the financial resources and exposure to a fairly expensive and inaccessible sport.
Oh, dear Lord.
Fairly expensive and inaccessible sport. That's right, and we like it that way.
I want you to kill every golfer on the course.
Check me if I'm wrong, Sandy, but if I kill all the golfers, they're going to lock me up and throw away the key.
Golfers! They're great kid, not golfers. The little brown furry rodents.
We can do that.
Aye.
We don't even have to have a reason.
Before you see it on TV, share it on Facebook, or read about it in the paper. Hear it here first. This is Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560. The Answer.
Congratulations to all who took the Balance of Nature New Year's Challenge. Success stories are pouring in. So many people have been helped through this incentive that I have asked Balance of Nature to continue this challenge for as long as possible.
I'll tell you what, this stuff is great. I haven't gotten sick. Everybody around me is coming down with that laryngitis, and it seems like it's all over the country. It's like a respiratory tract infection, and people lose their voice, and then it goes away, and then it comes back like 2 weeks later, and it's worse. I teach in a school. Half the teachers here, are sick. They're miserable, and I haven't gotten sick, and I swear it's this stuff. It's this fruits and veggies I'm taking.
Good health is just a phone call away. What are you waiting for? Call now and take the health challenge to get a free month's supply of Balance of Nature. Call 1-800-2468-751. That's 1-800-2468-751. Or go online to balanceofnature.com. Use promo code CHICAGO.
Hi, this is Shalom Klein of Get Down to Business, the show for small business, jobs, and entrepreneurship, powered by Tandem HR.
Entrepreneurs find it frustrating when they have to spend more time managing the administration of the employees than on growing their business. From processing payroll to shopping, benefits, and everything in between, entrepreneurs can spend up to 40% of their day engaged in these necessary but time-consuming tasks. That's where a pro like Tandem HR comes in. When outsourcing these functions, your organization can offer better benefit packages and establish best HR practices to attract and retain best talent. All of this while gaining back time to spend on business profiting activities. To learn more about the benefits of outsourcing your HR for a free quote, call 630-928-0510.
For more tips, advice, and stories of entrepreneurial successes, listen to Get Down to Business with Shalom Klein, heard Sunday afternoons at 6. Your Business Minute of the Day is powered by Tandem HR.
AM 560, The Answer.
Coming up on Chicago's Morning Answer.
Former Clinton confidant and inveterate toe sucker Dick Morris joins us to explain how Trump can beat Hillary. That's at 7:37.
And later, the First Lady of Maine takes on a new job to buy something. We'll explain why she's doing it and where she's working. But first, into the newsroom we go. Here is Mike Scott.
Sunshine and 70 degrees. Wall Street stumbles into the new week after a free fall on Friday. Wall Street's three major indexes lost more than 3% in value last Friday after the Brexit vote. The Supreme Court expected to announce three highly anticipated decisions, one on a Texas abortion law today. Floodwaters in West Virginia receding just a bit, but more trouble could be on the horizon. A flash flood watch is out for most of southern West Virginia through the evening. 25 have now died in record recent flooding. 10 police officers in a Chicago suburb are suing that town, claiming the body cameras they wore never turned off and recorded them in Round Lake Park using the restroom and changing clothes. A bicyclist is dead after he was struck by a freight train on Chicago's southwest side. Fire officials say it happened last night when the man was riding his bike on railroad tracks near 59th and Narragansett. And developments in a story that we want to refresh your mind about. Researchers this morning are telling us that mysterious holes that forced the closure of massive dunes near Mount Baldy at the Indiana National Park after a 6-year-old boy fell into one and nearly died were caused by sand-covered trees that left cavities behind as they decayed over the years. It's a study published in December, but is getting a second review this summer. It supports early findings that fungus on the trees formed a sort of cement that allowed the sand to keep its hollowed-out shape until the wood decayed and then collapsed inward. The problem is that it's also a phenomenon that's also being found in Oregon and in Michigan as well. Cubs suffered a loss to the Marlins while the White Sox were winners over Toronto. The news service of Burger King's Classic Grilled Dogs. Get to Burger King July 2nd and 3rd. Try a Classic Grilled Dog for $1. All you have to do to get the $1 deal is to go to Burger King and ask for the $1 deal on Classic Grilled Dogs. At participating Burger King restaurants, limit 5 per transaction while supplies last. 7:34 and a check of traffic and weather on the way next on AM 560.
The sounds of summer from your very own pool and spa is brought to you by All Seasons Pools, Spas, and Outdoor Living. All Seasons Pools and Spas begins from the ground up with creative custom design, expert pool construction, and hardscaping, and then finishes with complete maintenance and care, leaving you to enjoy the of summer. As you soak up the sun poolside, imagine a fire pit, outdoor kitchen, or pergola. All Seasons Pool and Spa will turn your boring backyard into a vacation paradise. No need to go off the deep end. Relax, knowing that for over 60 years, All Seasons Pools and Spas has been making a splash in your neighborhood. Visit their showroom and store for a complete selection of pool, spa, robotic pool cleaners, and premium barbecue and grill islands. A trained staff is on hand to provide water testing, salt and chlorine products, and advice for servicing your pool. All Seasons Pool and Spa and Outdoor Living, 135th Street in Orland Park, or resortlivingathome.com. That's resortlivingathome.com.
Listen to AM 560 on your mobile device. Now available on iHeartRadio. Online at iHeartRadio.com.
Hey, I want to tell you about my friends at Guardian Security Services. Because here's the deal. If you're unhappy with your door staff or on-site security officers at your business or property, or you're just not receiving the services you were promised, there's no reason to tolerate it. Call my friends right now at Guardian Security Services to discuss your security officer needs. These guys are amazing. They've been Chicago's best for 41 years. They only assign the most professional, highly trained security officers in all of Chicagoland. Their vetting practices are exceptional. If you're finally ready to explore an alternative to your current security officer provider, then doggone it, do it. Pick up the phone right now and schedule a free security assessment with my friends at Guardian Security Services. Tell them me, Joe Walsh, sent you. Right now, call 708-385-3300. Again, 708-385-3300 or online at guardiansecurityinc.com.
7:37. Let's get an update on the roads in our Guardian Security Services Traffic Center. Here's Jim Talamonte.
Thanks, Mike. On the Edens Expressway, it's 25 minutes either way between Lake Cook and Montrose. The Kennedy has improved a bit more. It's 30 minutes. O'Hare to downtown, outbound 50. Inbound Eisenhower, 58 minutes. Thorndale to the post office. Outbound, it's an hour. To Stevenson, 58 minutes. 355 to Lakeshore Drive, outbound 40 minutes. Ryan, 35 minutes. 95th to downtown. Northbound Tri-State, slow 111th most of the way to 31st. And Roosevelt to Grand Avenue. Veterans Memorial, stop and go. I-55 most of the way to Roosevelt. And from the Army Trail toll to 290. Traffic service of Napa Auto Parts. With more than 400,000 quality parts and over 90 years of experience, Napa can help you keep just about anything on the road. So stop by your local Napa Auto Parts store and keep it running longer, stronger with Napa know-how. Traffic answers when you need them most. I'm Jim Talamonte on AM 560, The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer continues next. Your official Chicagoland weather forecast from the aircomfort.com Weather Center. Sunny, warm, less humid today. A high of 89, 61 overnight, and only 72 tomorrow. 69 right now at O'Hare, 75 along the lakefront. Next news at 8. Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues next on AM 560, The Answer.
This hourly segment is brought to you by Market Overdrive with Carla Mina, a power hour of real estate trends, secrets, and advice. Heard every Saturday afternoon at 1.
Good morning, Dan and Amy. Well, polls over the weekend, some sort of mixed news, I would say, for Trump. Certainly the Washington Post ABC News poll that has him down 12 points with a third of the Republicans and Republican-leaning independents saying he's unqualified for office. That's not good news. But now, by contrast, and this is, frankly, quite substantial variance, Wall Street Journal and NBC News has Clinton leading Trump only 46-41, so just outside the margin of error. And, of course, these are national polls, and the presidential election is a state-by-state contest. So
yeah, but then you look state by state, they're tied in Florida pretty much, North Carolina, Ohio.
Well, he's right, and he's put some states in play, has Trump, that shouldn't be in play for Republican, Arizona, Georgia. But by contrast, he's also put some states in play that haven't been in play for Republican in some time, like Pennsylvania, where he's in a dead heat with Hillary Clinton. So what exactly is his path to the presidency, Trump's, and where should he focus when it comes to disassembling Hillary, as he did for 45 minutes in a speech last week? But he's not going to have 45 minutes when it comes to television spots and communication, even in debates. Well, for the answer to those questions, we're joined by former Clinton confidant, the author of the new book, Armageddon, How Trump Can Beat Hillary. He is political consultant Dick Morris. Dick, thanks so much for joining us. Appreciate it.
Hey, Dan. Hey, Amy. How are you doing?
Good. So the thesis of your book, How Trump Can Beat Hillary, tell us.
Right. Well, the key thing is to run against her, not just by throwing the right jab, which Republicans do all the time. Yeah, throw the right jab on Obamacare and on immigration and on the various key social Republican issues. But also use the left hook. Throw the left hook to go after the Bernie Sanders voters about income inequality, about how the Fed pumps money into the top 1%, about foreign trade, about how immigration holds down wages in the United States. You know, the Brexit vote, to me, is the first global defeat globalism has suffered in an election. It's the repudiation of globalism. And it's a repudiation by those who are not protected, have been left behind, and are frankly not of great concern to the policymakers, particularly the economic ones. And the Bernie Sanders almost defeat of Hillary, Trump coming from out of nowhere to win the Republican nomination, Brexit coming from against the whole establishment of Britain, forcing Britain out of the EU, all three of those are of a piece. They're tapping into this enormous force that is developing, repudiating globalist economics. I used to work for the Britain Leave Party, the group that won. I helped found them back 10 years ago. And they won equally among Labor and conservative voters, left and right, equally. Left and right are really inappropriate distinctions in this new era. The appropriate one is insider and outsider.
And don't you love how the Brexit vote, you know, it got a boost after President Obama visited, you know, with Cameron and threatened them not to do it. Yep.
Right. And then they overcame that. The fact of the matter is there'll be an Anglo-American world domination of the economy and trade as a result of this. But the other part of it is that you have to mine Hillary's record like a damn gold mine and keep getting pieces out of it that people don't know or have never known or have long since forgotten. People ask me, why were you once Hillary's top advisor and why have you turned on her? And the answer is, she's changed. I haven't changed. She did not used to be totally corrupt. She occasionally would do whitewater or stuff like that. But now it's
partially
gone from,
corrupt only. Yeah.
Now, yeah, a little at the edges. But it's now gone from a marriage to a marriage of convenience to a damn RICO, racketeering organization, where Bill passes the bag and Hillary does the favors in the State Department. She used to seek money in order to get power. Now she seeks power in order to make money.
Well, I just want to go back to the analogy to Brexit for a minute. And one of the other kind of underreported aspects of this, you mentioned how it was a 50-50 Labor and Conservative. It was also driven by Britons that were over 50 years old. 50 plus is who actually drove the success of the Leave. And so, you know, we focus so much on millennials. We focus on the changing demographics of the United States, and that's happening. There's no question. But at the end of the day, 50 plus still are the preponderance of your, well, not preponderance, they're the majority of your voters. And do you see something similar in terms of age demographics, Trump versus Hillary?
Yes, I do. Absolutely. Trump has always been very much among older voters. But the problem with Hillary is that younger voters, who should be her core, all voted for Bernie Sanders. And that's why you need to go after Hillary on each of her scandals. Don't let her skate on anything. Explain how she was almost indicted twice. Go into all of the many, many lies she's told about her own life and the many, many things she's made up. Go into, in great detail, her flip-flops, the Muslim influence in the State Department, how she literally made huge strides in increasing the visibility and the jihad of radical Muslims, all of her flip-flops. One thing that Benghazi and what that says about her ability to be commander-in-chief, go into the whole idea, and our book talks about all these, that she would rather endanger America's most vital secrets by putting them on an unsecured server than let the press have access to them by putting it on his Freedom of Information discoverable State Department server.
Well, we're talking to former Hillary Clinton, Clinton Inc. advisor Dick Morris, his new book, Armageddon, How Trump Can Beat Hillary, out June 28th. So I want to go back to something you said about, exploring her records, things people don't know. As part of that document dump last week of DNC Oppo research on Hillary, that was made
public. On Trump, you mean?
No, on Hillary. That was made public by these hackers, these Romanian hackers, apparently. Something in there specific, which confirms what we suspect to be true, but it confirms it, that the speeches that she gave, all the protocols for her to give one of these six-figure speeches, included you have to pay for someone to transcribe the speech. So we know now for certain that the Wall Street Bank speeches have transcriptions. Is that something that Trump should focus on?
Yes, absolutely, demanding she release those when she tells Wall Street what she really plans to do. And I think that, but there's another point that comes out about those speeches, and we make this in the book. Hillary has lived in a bubble her entire adult life. Endless staffs, endless servants, private jets at her disposal, never having in the White House, the governor's mansion, and then the State Department, and then having extreme wealth from the speeches, never having to pay for anything, never having to pay rent or insurance or for a car or utilities or food or entertainment or babysitting. And Trump has as well, because he's made his money. But Trump has lived in the real world, in the private sector. Hillary has lived in this protected government enclave. And part of the reason for the Brexit rejection is the feeling that Europe was run by just such an enclave. The history of Europe, of course, was an aristocracy that ran the country and ran the world. And now it's the same thing. It's just a civil service aristocracy from all the top schools, chosen almost on a hereditary basis with contempt for democracy. This is the fuel that will animate Donald Trump to victory, the rejection of this kind of elitist, bureaucratic, anti-democratic global economy.
And you've made some scathing remarks about the Clintons and their alleged relationship or fake marriage. Do you think those two were ever in love with each other, or are they just in love with power?
No. I think that in the 70s and the 80s, Hillary deeply, really loved Bill. And I think Bill really deeply loved Bill.
So they had that in common.
They had something in common.
Yeah, right.
Then I think in the 90s it became more a partnership, marriage of political convenience. Now I think it's a RICO. It's a racketeering organization. It's a crime syndicate where Bill is in charge of getting the bribes and Hillary is in charge of making the decisions that permit that. Not just stuff like giving Russia our uranium supply, 20% of our supply, which they did, with Bill giving $1 million worth of speeches in Moscow that week. But more subtle things like legitimizing the Arab Emirates and Dubai and Bahrain and Oman and all those countries with their horrible human rights record. And the State Department under Hillary jumped through hoops to legitimize and mainstream those countries. And despite the human rights abuses, to do everything for them. I was appalled the other day when one Democrat, I think it was Robbie Moore, said Trump has made money from countries with human rights violations. My God, Bill flew to Kazakhstan, one of the most corrupt dictatorships in the world, and proposed the president for head of the OECD Human Rights Unit, and was paid $1 million for that speech. And then his partner got the uranium supply in Kazakhstan to him, which he then sold to Moscow. And Bill got speaking fees, and he paid $100 million to the Clinton Foundation. This is all in the book, and it's been skimmed over in the press. You're not going to see it now because the media is in Hillary's pocket. And there were many young people that never knew it, and many of us that have long since forgotten it or never got the details.
Well,
and this book is an encyclopedia of that.
Well, hopefully Jim Comey comes to the same conclusion you did about the RICO that these two are running. He is Dick Morris, the book, Armageddon, How Trump Can Beat Hillary. Dick, thanks so much for joining us. Appreciate it.
Thank you, Dan. Thanks, Amy.
Thank you. And he joined us on our turnkey.pro answer line.
Connect with Dan and Amy on the AM 560 The Answer mobile app. Just text the word app to 64636 to download the app today.
I love Dick Morris. And you're going to love this forecast. Plenty of sunshine, no clouds. Just less humid than we're used to, a high of 89 degrees. Tonight, partly cloudy, a low of 61 degrees. And tomorrow, things aren't going to really heat up. It's just going to be a spectacular day, a little on the cool side, low humidity, and a high of 72 degrees. Numbers on the roadways. Here's Jim Telemonte.
Thanks, Amy. Northbound 53 is jammed from the Adams Tollway to Kirchhoff with a reported crash. Southbound stop and go Rand Road to Kirchhoff. The Edens is 21 minutes like Cook to Montrose, outbound 35. Kennedy, 35 minutes, O'Hare to downtown, outbound 55. The Eisenhower is 1 hour, Thorndale to downtown, outbound an hour and 10 minutes. The Stevenson, 58 minutes, 355 to Lakeshore Drive, outbound 40. Ryan is 30 minutes, 95th to downtown. Northbound Tri-State delays from 111th to 31st and Roosevelt to Grand Avenue. Adams Tollway slow, Roselle to 53 and busing to the Des Plaines Oasis. Northbound Veterans Memorial really slow this morning with delays from I-55 most of the way up to 290. I'm Jim Talamonte in the Guardian Security Services Traffic Center.
All right, let's get straight to the point. Thousands of you kids have bought MyPillows, and if you're not one of them, why not? For no other reason than you haven't changed your pillow in the last couple years. Now would be a great time. Your pillow absorbs dead skin, dirt, skin oils, dust mites. If it's really heavy, yeah, you've got dust mites in there. And that can cause allergies, acne, asthma, and who knows what else. You really deserve a washable MyPillow. It comes with a 10-year warranty. Who puts that on a product? And it's a great health investment. And best of all, I know you'll get the best sleep ever. I know that I do. And MyPillow is the official pillow of the National Sleep Foundation. What's not to love? So visit MyPillow.com, type Amy in the promo code. 2 pillows for the price of one. Give one as a gift. Keep the other for you. Do it now. 800-489-0201 or online at MyPillow.com. Promo code Amy. 800-489-0201.
Safer USA, Chicago's most trusted name in firearm training, is offering beginners classes, tactical pistol and rifle, long-range rifle to 600 yards, and the most comprehensive Illinois concealed carry program available. AM 560 On Target Radio co-hosts David Lombardo and Gretchen Fritz will prepare you to carry a firearm for personal protection, including firearm, holster, and ammunition selection. A comprehensive law review designed to keep you out of trouble and even how to deal with home invasions. Firearm, ammunition, holster, class notebook, and lunch are provided. Safer USA and the Aurora Sportsman's Club invites you to participate in this one-of-a-kind Illinois concealed carry program that also qualifies you for Florida, Utah, and Arizona non-resident permits. Find out what over 6,000 students already know at saferusa.com.
Or call 815-741-3474. That's 815-741-3474. Safer USA. Choosing to own a firearm is your business. Teaching you to own it responsibly is ours.
On AM 560 The Answer, we talk about the important issues that affect your world. Things like the economy, education, and foreign policy. There's always so much going on in the news that we don't always have the time to focus in and talk about the big ideas behind the important issues. Enter Upstream Ideas. Online at upstream-ideas.com. Upstream Ideas, in partnership with the Illinois Policy Institute, provides the kind of information that informs the policy discussions happening here on AM 560. At Upstream Ideas, you'll broaden the debate, move beyond partisan assumptions, and challenge accepted beliefs. Upstream Ideas goes against the current and thinks upstream. Go online now at upstream-ideas.com. That's upstream-ideas.com. You'll be armed with new information and fresh perspectives to help encourage you to make the state of Illinois and the United States of America a bit freer, a bit more just, and a bit more civilized. Upstream-ideas.com.
AM 560, The Answer.
Dan and Amy, so I love this story. This is a story of Ann LePage. She is the wife of Maine Republican Governor Paul LePage, who's a little bit of a wild card.
Yeah, and she's, he doesn't make that much money. He makes about $70,000 a year, and she wants a new car. So what did she do? Dan, she's a honey making money.
Took a double shift at McSiegel's, which is a restaurant touting double-wrapped bacon scallops and views of Booth Bay Harbor.
But she said it's great because people always do a double take and say, gosh, you look familiar. Where do I know you? Oh, that's right. You're Maine's first lady.
$70,000, lowest gubernatorial salary of all 50 governors. Average is about $135,000. LePage actually tried to increase it for his successor. That failed. I like it. And by the way, LePage is a big Trump supporter, too. It's kind of interesting. Similar personalities, actually. But I've always suggested this, that in Illinois, the salaries for both state legislators and constitutional officers should be the median salary, median household income for Illinois, so like $53,000. And it should only increase as the median household income increases and only by the same amount, no more. That's a way to really keep the politicians not looking at this as a sinecure and a well-funded sinecure, reminding them how it is for people to live on that kind of money rather than these ruling class salaries they enjoy.
I think she's making a little bit more than her husband right now when it comes out with tips, about $28 an hour, and she's picking up double shifts. And she says she absolutely loves her job. Ordering.
You're listening to Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan Proft and Amy Jacobson on AM 560. The Answer. And now, a moment of objectivism with Yaron Brook and the Ayn Rand Institute.
What is unique about America, according to Ayn Rand? Most governments regard some men as sacrifices to others and society as an end in itself. They hold that a man's life belongs to society, which can dispose of him in any way it pleases. That any freedom is only by permission of society, which may be revoked at any time. The U.S. regarded man as an end in himself and society as a means to a peaceful, voluntary coexistence of individuals. The U.S. held that man's life is his by right, by moral principle, and by his nature, that rights belong to individuals and society itself has no rights, and the only moral purpose of government is to protect individual rights. This is what made America special. From the Ayn Rand Institute, I'm Yaron Brook.
This has been a moment of objectivism from the Ayn Rand Institute. To learn more, listen to the Yaron Brook Show, Saturdays at 4 on AM 560, and visit ariradio.com.
Why are Ayn Rand's ideas so compelling? Her worldview, her philosophy, expressed dramatically in her novels Atlas Shrugged and The Fountainhead, embodies the ideals stated by the Founding Fathers in the Declaration of Independence and sets forth the requirements necessary to achieve a flourishing life. She called her philosophy objectivism and said it was a philosophy for living on Earth. Today, decades after her death, objectivism continues to stir debate and inspire passion for the spirit of individualism and the enduring American dream.
Mike Rowe here for 1 hour. Today, Chuck is jogging in place to make a point about energy efficiency.
I thought I was training for a marathon.
He's been at it now for...
3 minutes.
And already he's wearing out.
I'm not.
Your heating and air conditioning systems are a lot like Chuck.
Warm yet somehow cool.
Wheezing, wasting energy, and probably headed for replacement.
You're talking about the air systems, right?
Sure, pal. Sure. Call 1 hour before it's too late.
Can you do the disclaimer for me?
Each independent franchise is licensed in its respective state or county.
Thanks.
Signature Bank is Chicago's fastest-growing independently owned business bank. It's a bank where relationships still matter. Signature Bank knows your name and your story. I'm Dan Proft, and I know this because Signature Bank is my business bank.
If you think all banks are the same, it's time to think about Signature Bank Chicago. I'm Pete Olson, head of commercial banking at Signature Bank, where the people who own the bank operate the bank, not in an abstract way, but in the same hands-on, personalized way that you run your business. We don't rely on a legion of business developers to find new relationships. We don't trust an outsourced phone bank to address your customer service needs, and we don't delegate decision-making to some anonymous credit committee that you'll never meet. We do everything we can to help you succeed, because if you don't succeed, we don't succeed. Call us today to see the Signature Bank difference.
Signature Bank is looking for their next success story. Learn more about turning your business vision into reality. Visit signature-bank.com. Signature Bank, helping local businesses succeed. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
AM 560, The Answer.
And coming up on Chicago's Morning Answer.
This story makes my head spin. BLM disrupts LGBTQ event. I'd like to buy a vowel.
And later, transgender troops. Oh, yes, it's coming to this country. But first, let's go into the newsroom, and here is Mike Scott.
Amy and Dan, we're watching a suspected armed robber and developments related to that story. We told you earlier this morning about a robber shot and killed by police in Dalton. 2 shot in the city of Chicago by an off-duty Cook County Sheriff's deputy. 3 children and 4 adults hurt in a Dan Ryan crash. And the Marlins beat the Cubs. Sunny and warm, less humid today, a high of 89. WIND Chicago News Time is 8 o'clock.
Fox News Radio, I'm Dave Anthony. They keep losing money in Europe and maybe on Wall Street at the opening bell, too, as stock markets fall again, while British leaders deal with the aftermath of the vote to leave the European Union. Fox's Simon Owen live in London.
Dave, Secretary of State John Kerry is meeting with EU diplomats in Brussels discussing the fallout from the Brexit referendum.
The vote did not come out the way President Obama and I and others hoped that it would, but that's democracy.
Kerry calling for a smooth transition. But there are indications this could be a messy divorce. Outgoing British Prime Minister David Cameron saying he wants to wait before formally triggering the mechanism to leave the EU. European leaders increasingly saying they want Britain gone fast. Dave?
Simon, 5 people are dead, at least 15 wounded after suicide bombers detonated their explosives vests in a Lebanese village near the border with Syria today. West Virginians are being told more rain could lead to more flooding on top of all the deadly damage already done. Fox's Evan Brown has more live.
Dave, more than 20 counties in West Virginia are under flash flood watches this morning as the National Weather Service says torrential rains will not be stopping. Evacuations are becoming harder, and this man had to get senior citizens to a church acting as a shelter. We didn't have time to put him in buses. The buses were getting underwater. And so we had to start taking the residents out just by wheelchair. So far, the storms and floods have killed 25 people. West Virginia Governor Earl Ray Tomblin says there are even more people unaccounted for, Dave.
How about a couple thousand firefighters keep battling a wildfire around Lake Isabella, California? They've got it 40%.
We want to commemorate them, celebrate their lives, and also celebrate today.
At least 2 people were killed. The Supreme Court this morning is expected to put out their final 3 opinions of the term, one on Texas abortion clinics, another would be on a federal law barring people convicted of domestic violence from having guns. Fox News Radio, fair and balanced.
Mostly sunny.
I wanted to pay a tribute to Eddie.
So
that's what I'm here for today.
It is a reminder that while we have made progress on marriage equality, we've made progress on repealing Don't Ask, Don't Tell, there is hate in the world.
Push Coalition Convention at the Hyatt Regency.
It's great. It's wonderful. It's my second time being out here. It's nice. It's very supportive.
Trump Hotel. Authorities say a woman was recording a video on Wabash Avenue.
I just love being here, having fun, being safe, showing a good time.
With an accomplice. 10 are injured after violence broke out on the south and west
commemorate
sides.
them, celebrate their lives, and also celebrate today.
Shot and killed by police in Dalton. Dante Johnson was trying to rob a Shell gas station early yesterday on Sibley Boulevard when 2 officers arrived on scene. Police fired their weapons after they claimed Johnson pointed a gun in their direction. There are charges pending after 2 were shot by an off-duty Cook County Sheriff's deputy near Marquette Park on Chicago's southwest side. Police say the deputy saw a teen boy and a man shooting into a vehicle last night. The officer then announced his presence and fired his weapon at the suspects. Both are hospitalized in good condition. Chicago sports. Cubs suffer a loss to the Marlins in the finale of a 4-game set in Miami. Chris Sale
It is a reminder that while
first 13-game winner in a 5-2 White Sox win over Toronto. The news a service of Sam's Club. Sam's Club has everything you need to host the perfect cookout for less this 4th of July holiday. Boneless, skinless chicken breasts, $1.88 per pound. 90-10 ground chuck, $2.98 per pound. Sam's Club, life is better in the club. See club for details. 8:04, time for the AM 560 Business Beat. From the Fox Business Network and a service of Turnkey.pro, here is Ginny Casola.
From the Fox Business Network, Europe's financial technology companies are considering what to do now that the United Kingdom has decided to leave the European Union. The Wall Street Journal says Europe is a key region for payment technology research. Digital transfers can go across borders without separate licenses. Some companies are now considering moving out of the UK to Germany. Japan's Nikkei index closed up more than 2% today, but futures are pointing to another lower start for stocks here in the U.S. Google could start selling its own phone by the end of the year. The report from The Telegraph offers no details about how and why the new phone will be produced. It's part of Google's Project Ara modular phone initiative. Tech website The Verge is skeptical of the report. The Dow closed down 610 points on Friday. The Nasdaq was down 202. With the Fox Business Report, I'm Ginny Cosola.
8:05 in Chicago, and a check of traffic and weather on the way next on AM 560.
Most of America is just straight up car stupid.
The Dave Ramsey Show.
You fleece your car, acting like when you rented your car, you did a good deal. Give me a break. And the stupid thing loses 60 to 70% of its value when you buy a new one in the first 4 years that you drive it. So you turn $30,000 into $11,000 and then scratch your head and wonder why you can't get ahead financially. This is not hard to think about, people.
Dave Ramsey. Weeknights starting at 7. Presented by Wintrust Community Bank on AM 560. The Answer.
Raise your hand if you think you know what identity theft is. Just kidding. This is a radio commercial. We can't tell if your hand is up. But we can tell you that if you think identity theft is when someone adds charges to your credit card, you're only partially right. Identity theft is when someone pretends to be you, to open new accounts in your name, or any number of other bad things. That's where LifeLock can help. We use proprietary technology to detect and alert you to a whole range of identity threats. And if you have a problem, our U.S.-based team of specialists will work to fix it. You'll get more protection with LifeLock than you get from free credit monitoring alone. Obviously, no one can prevent all identity theft or monitor all transactions at all businesses, but LifeLock is the best identity theft protection available. Join LifeLock right now and get a special 15% discount off your first year. Visit LifeLock.com and use promo code FREEDOM15. That's FREEDOM15 to take advantage of an incredible 15% discount off your first year. Act now. Offer ends July 3rd. Go to LifeLock.com and enter promo code FREEDOM15. LifeLock.
It is 8:06. Let's get an update on the roads in our Guardian Security Services Traffic Center. Here's Jim Talamonte.
Thanks, Mike. We're seeing heavy delays on the northbound Veterans Memorial up to 53, where northbound 53 is jammed from Beesterfield to Kirchhoff, where there's a crash blocking 3 right lanes. The northbound delays on 355 as you start around I-55. On the Edens inbound, it's just 21 minutes. Lake Cook to Montrose outbound 35 minutes. Kennedy 35 minutes. O'Hare to downtown outbound 55. The Eisenhower's an hour. Thorndale to downtown outbound an hour and 10 minutes. Stevenson 58 minutes. 355 to Lakeshore Drive outbound 42. Ryan 25 minutes. 95th to the Loop. Tri-State southbound so 132 to 137. Northbound 115th most of the way to 31st. And Roosevelt to the Grand Avenue curve. Traffic answers when you need them most. I'm Jim Talamonte on AM 560, The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer continues next. Your official Chicagoland weather forecast from the AirComfort.com Weather Center, providing the right climate for business since 1935. Here's meteorologist Kevin Snyder.
Mostly sunny and less humid today. High 89, partly cloudy night, low 61. Sun and patchy clouds tomorrow with a high 72, and a clear night for tomorrow night with a low of 53. Then Wednesday, a full day of sunshine, high of 80. I'm Kevin Snyder on AM 560, The Answer.
70 at O'Hare. Next news, 8:30. Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues next on AM 560, The Answer.
This hourly segment is brought to you by Illinois Rising, hosted by Dan Proft and the Illinois Policy Institute. Sunday afternoons at 3 on AM 560 The Answer.
Good morning. Welcome to your Monday morning briefing. Here's what you need to know to start your day.
It is a reminder that while we have made progress on marriage equality, we've made progress on repealing Don't Ask, Don't Tell, there is hate in the world.
Just as we have seen, there are many frustrated people in Britain. We know there are frustrated people here at home, too.
The origins of the EU and how the idea, a very utopian idea and successful for a while, was corrupted.
This is Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan Proft and Amy Jacobson on AM 560. The Answer.
Good morning, Dan and Amy. And I know we had the Gay Pride Parade over the weekend in Chicago.
Yeah, I think I saw you on one of those floats.
Yeah, it wasn't me.
Are you sure? Was me?
Another,
that Shaggy song?
Another good-looking guy.
Yeah.
But I'm confused about this story. This is, do I want to be called a racist? Do I want to be called a homophobe? It's such a tough call. But in Toronto, they unveiled a mural to celebrate the LGBTQ community as an act of apology for some raids that took place in 1981 in Toronto bathhouses where 286 men were arrested. 1981. So that's 35 years ago, according to my math. And during the press conference unveiling this mural, this was done by Toronto police, and having the police chief make an apology for something that happened more than 3 decades ago. Black Lives Matter protesters arrived, chanting and carrying signs that read "No pride in policing." So how do you reconcile celebrating LGBTQ and offering an apology with then having to be protested by BLM? I mean, you see how you're kind of pulled in a bunch of different directions?
Yeah, it's acronym overload, too. I mean, what are you going to do?
Well, I mean, when there's many victims groups out there as there are, it's just difficult to keep track, and they're bound to run headlong into one another, and that's apparently what happened in Toronto.
Yeah, and what happened yesterday, and is anybody down there, if anybody saw this, 312-642-5600 is our Turnkey.Pro answer line. Anybody affected by this? The Gay Pride Parade now drawing more than 1 million people. It is a huge event, and everybody's happy because it's a great day to be gay.
It's great. It's wonderful. It's my second time being out here. It's nice. It's very supportive.
And everybody wearing their colorful outfits, if they were even wearing clothes at all.
I just love being here, having fun, being safe, showing a good time.
If they're wearing clothes at all, is there some kind of policy about? I mean, normally, not for certain exempt groups, but is there a policy about maintaining some decorum and clothing yourself in public?
Yeah, there is.
There's public nudity ordinances, right?
Yep. But indecent exposure.
But they don't apply here.
Does not apply during the Gay Pride Parade.
Of course.
And open alcohol does not apply during Pride Week. Pride Weekend, I should say.
Mm-hmm.
And, of course, it started off very somber considering what happened in Orlando.
We want to commemorate them, celebrate their lives, and also celebrate today.
And one of those who was...
I was getting prepared for Shark Week on the Discovery Channel, so I was decked out in shark attire.
But it was nice.
Yesterday.
One person had pictures up of all the victims and then took all the comments from Facebook and social media and wrote stories about all 49 victims, and they put their pictures up, some of the victims not wearing shorts, and put their pictures up. And one guy,
just like Comiskey Park.
Yeah, Eddie Sotomayor, he was killed, and his friend Jason came to the parade, flew to Chicago to honor his buddy.
I wanted to pay a tribute to Eddie. So that's what I'm here for today.
But the problem is, and it's great that all those the victims were honored, but this parade needs to be moved downtown. And if you even mention that, you're homophobic.
Why does it need to be moved downtown? Because it's in your neighborhood?
No, well, okay, sure. Was I inconvenienced by it? Yes. Were a lot of our neighbors inconvenienced by it? Yes. You can't it took 52 minutes to go from Lakeshore Drive to 1.5 miles in to get to our house and our neighborhood.
I love it. Let's make all policies based on
No.
Amy's NIMBY preferences.
No, and I sound like an old lady, but we have complained in the past. I used to live on Kenmore. I used to live even closer to the Gay Pride Parade. It's time that the leaders of the city decided, you know what, this is too big for us to handle. There are liquor bottles everywhere. It is just disgusting. They come in, take over the neighborhood, not just for the day, Dan, but on Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. And last night we didn't get our streets back until 6:30 at night.
Yeah.
So I don't understand why in the world they can't be treated like everybody else. Every other group has their parade on Columbus Drive. And in the mere mention of it, you're labeled homophobic. You don't care about gays and lesbians and bisexuals and transgender.
What about questioning?
Questioning.
What about them?
Although questioning, yeah, I guess I care. And the mayor cares because this is all about love, Dan.
It is a reminder that while we have made progress on marriage equality, we've made progress on repealing Don't Ask, Don't Tell, there is hate in the world.
And you have to combat hate with love,
Yeah.
he went on to say.
And
Kind of like the Loretta Lynch.
It mostly emanates from the mayor's office, that hate that Tiny Dancer's talking about. Randy in Munster, you're on Chicago's Morning Answer. Randy.
Hello, Dan and Amy. This is Randy from Munster, Indiana.
Yep.
If it's okay to have open alcohol at the Gay Pride Parade, why can't you have open alcohol at the South Side Irish Parade?
I think you know the answer to that, Randy. Thanks for the call. Thanks for the call, Randy.
But even the Southside Irish Parade had to take a few years off because things got a little out of control. So the rules don't apply. No, it's
and
you're rolling your eyes.
And my best Longshanks impersonation, the Irish.
And why do they have two parades anyway? One's not enough, so the Irish have to have two parades. What about the Swedes? Huh? What about you people? What are you? Do you even know? Because why do you have an adoption parade? I was adopted parade. What about my heterosexual parade that I'm going to have next week? And you're invited, Dan, if you want to come and play.
Of the first installment, huh? Can't wait. Ed in LaGrange.
Yeah, the Southside Irish Parade is still on Western Avenue. I think the call before we might have mentioned that. But for years, it started out family friendly, and then buses were coming in from Joliet and Aurora. Open alcohol laws were ignored. So they had to really shut it down for about 2 years and bring it back. And now they strictly enforce the open alcohol. It's much more family friendly again back to what it was. So
They had to ban the Legou brothers. Well, the Legou father-son, I should say, yes.
Well, I don't think they were at the Southside Irish Parade. They're probably up.
They're Blue Island.
Well, Blue Island, that's true. That's way south. So, but I think, the business owners don't want it moved downtown, Amy, because they make a lot of money off the parade.
Well, that's a good point.
Southside Irish people do.
Yeah, that's a good point. Thanks for the call, Ed. Yeah,
but it only makes sense now that there's more than 1 million people to, move it downtown.
Well,
I don't.
When Tiny Dancer appoints you as the director of the mayor's office of special events, then you can have your say, and
it's a
will be
safety
overruled.
issue. I mean, one of the reasons why one of the officers, we were kept out of driving down Irving Park for 9 hours was because he said, well, Homeland Security's here. And I said, oh, well, that's great. Why, let me drive down my street. The parade's 5 blocks that way. Why can't we drive down? But they put this parameter around there to make sure that everybody was safe. And it was, they're on top of rooftops. It was quite impressive, and police cars everywhere. But thank God there was no act of violence, just a few arrests, and a lot of people needed ambulances because they were in the heat, Dan, and didn't drink water.
Yeah.
That dehydration thing.
Thank you for that parade update. Tom in Schaumburg.
I was just wondering, how much did it cost? How much money for all that extra security? Where'd they get the money from? Did they borrow it from Karen Lewis?
It's the savings from not getting the Lucas Museum. Thanks for the call, Tom. Appreciate it. On a related note, Pentagon planning to announce its repeal of the ban on transgender persons serving in the armed forces effective July 1st. Mm-hmm. Yeah, they're going through, trying to figure out how they need to retrofit the armed services to accommodate transgender service members with respect to military barracks and ship berths and gym shower facilities and latrines and other facilities that have to be modified to accommodate personnel in various stages of transition. And then what would the cost of those things be? RAND Corp is about a little over 1 million people active duty,
right,
serving in armed forces. Pentagon commissioned RANDCorp to study the issue of transgender troops. It's estimated there are fewer than 2,500 transgender service members, 65 of whom seek medical treatment each year, according to the New York Times. And so we're going to completely refashion the military to accommodate those people because the military is the repository of social experimentation. It's not about national security or protecting America's interests.
Allowing transgender troops, do we really look tough? I mean, how do we look to our enemy when we allow transgender troops and then pay for their reconstruction surgery?
Well, I mean, if they
pay for the hormones for them to take, because that's what's coming. I mean, I'd like to get augmented. I'd like to have it sponsored by somebody. Oh, I'll just go join the military.
I mean, if they saw somebody like Chaz Bono coming, maybe we'd look tough.
This is the morning show more Chicago radio listeners are choosing. This is Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560. The Answer.
Google transgender troops, and you'll see the 6 men and women who are fighting for equality in the military. No, please. But first, here's your forecast. Plenty of sunshine today, less humid, a high of 88 degrees. And then tomorrow, a lot cooler around here, but pleasant. We'll have some patchy clouds and a high of 72. Let's go see what the travel times are like on the roadways. Here's Jim Telemonte.
Thanks, Amy. It's really heavy on northbound 355 and 53 with delays from I-55 pretty much all the way up on 53 to Kirchhoff, where there's a crash blocking 2 right lanes. Southbound, there's a Gapers delay to slow from Dundee to Kirchhoff. Edens, 19 minutes, Lake Hook to Montrose, but outbound 35. The Kennedy is 35 minutes, O'Hare to downtown, outbound 55 minutes. The Eisenhower's heavy air outbound as well. It is an hour and 25 minutes, downtown out to Thorndale, inbound an hour and 5 minutes. Stevenson, 50 minutes, 355 to Lakeshore Drive, outbound 44. The Ryan, 24 minutes, 95th to downtown. Tri-State southbound, slow 21 to 137. Northbound, slow 115th most of the way to 31st and Roosevelt to Grand Avenue. I'm Jim Talamonte in the Guardian Security Services Traffic Center.
Are you or someone you know facing foreclosure, losing the family home? You'd be not alone. See, people, we are in the aftermath of what is being revealed to have been the greatest financial crime spree in history, perpetrated by the Wall Street investment banks smuggling and packaging mortgages, and continuing this day by the mortgage servicers that service the mortgages. I'm Lou Bridges. I have a law firm I put together. We defend foreclosure actions. We help people do strategic defaults, short sales, and modifications that include restructuring. Call us for a free consultation. We'll tell you what to look for in hiring a foreclosure defense attorney. We'll tell you some of your options. We'll give you a free consultation. But whatever you do, people, never give up the land. Fight for truth and justice. You do that, and I guarantee you'll never be alone.
Call 224-513-1231 or visit FightIllinoisForeclosures.com. That's 224-513-1231 or FightIllinoisForeclosures.com. Get real answers from a real foreclosure defense law firm.
I have struggled with irritable bowel syndrome for 40 years. Really struggled with it. And I want you to know that since I have been taking Balance of Nature, I don't have it anymore. After 40 years, I'm 75 years old, and after 40 years of struggling with this, and, early on taking all kinds of medication and this, that, and the other thing, back in October, I was able to cancel my appointment with the gastroenterologist. Your products have made my life, they have improved the quality of my life so tremendously. I can't be grateful enough. So please thank you all, and please, if you ever have a chance to, please thank Dr. Howard.
Good health is just a phone call away. What are you waiting for? Call now and take the health challenge to get a free month's supply of Balance of Nature. Call 1-800-2468-751. That's 1-800-2468-751. Or go online to balanceofnature.com. Use promo code CHICAGO.
AM 560, The Answer.
Dan and Amy, let's not dance, but let's take Steve on the northwest side. You're on Chicago's Morning Answer.
Good morning. I think Amy mentioned made a statement that the gay parade is the only parade that's allowed in the community. What about the Puerto Rican parade?
Well,
that's been going on for decades, and it's nothing but like a mecca for every gangster in the Midwest.
Hey,
easy. And plunder and shoot and hurt people.
Easy. Not all Puerto Ricans are gangbangers.
Wait, where is that parade?
Well, no, it was downtown. No, it was in Humboldt Park. No, listen, because I've been in it because I've had to go. It was in Humboldt Park for years. It got bad. It got dicey. They moved it down to Columbus.
Yeah, I remember that.
But nobody shows up for the Puerto Rican parade. Trust me, there's more people in the parade than watching the parade, and they have less entrants, so they moved it back to Humboldt Park. And there's no reports of any violence this weekend because of the Puerto Rican Day Parade, or 2 weekends
Are
ago.
you there?
I'm here.
Listen, I was a policeman. I worked that parade for years. Don't tell me there's no violence. There's no violence that's reported in the news media. There is violence every single day, every single evening at that parade, at that event. I've worked it for about 15 years. How can you tell me there's no violence?
This year, were there any reports of violence?
How do you know that? Because the news media is not reporting it? I mean, come on. It's ridiculous. It's an event that should have been held downtown for one day, and then now you've got an entire. You complain about Andersonville being held hostage by the gay parade. What about the poor, decent people that live in Humboldt Park that are held hostage by that parade for 4 to 5 days? I mean, it used to be 7 days. Now it's 4 days.
I know.
Come on, stop.
But they
All right, thanks,
fly
Steve.
the flag out of their car, like a bedsheet flag-sized Puerto Rican flag, for the whole month of June.
Oh, that's a fascinating factoid. I don't know that goes to what Steve was talking about. And here's my policy on parades.
Yes. I bet you love parades.
And let me tell you something. I am a model of intellectual consistency. I don't like parades.
Mm-hmm.
I don't participate in parades across the board.
And I bet you don't like cotton candy or juggling either, do you?
Let me tell you something. When I ran for office,
you had to be in parades, right?
I went in 0 parades.
Why?
Because they're a waste of time, and especially the labor-intensive process of trying to put together a team and all that, and you can use volunteers for more important things and more productive things. I did 0 parades. So I just want you to, I walked the walk, or more to the point, I didn't walk the walk, because I didn't walk in any parades when I ran, and I don't like parades now. I think they should be
banned.
I'm not going to ban them.
all parades.
No,
you know what they did do yesterday in the Gay Pride Parade, which they've
just
never
giving
done?
you my personal leadership on the topic.
What they did yesterday at the Gay Pride Parade that they've never done before, they made reporters and photographers stay behind the barriers. They couldn't be out walking around.
Well, yeah, reporters are dangerous.
They are.
Sean in Elmwood Park, you're on Chicago's Morning Answer.
Parades. Any excuse for morons that roam out of their house like they look like they're lost waving flags. It's outrageous. Moronic. But anyway, you're absolutely wrong about this transgender soldier thing.
Oh, really?
I don't care what it costs. Let's turn them all, because the last thing I want these third world savages to see before they realize that Allah looks a lot like an old Jewish jeweler is some muscle-bound freak in a miniskirt stabbing him in the neck with a stiletto. That is worth whatever it costs. I say we make them all sissies and let them loose on Allah.
Thanks for the call, Sean. Yeah, I mean, there's something to that. I mean, this is, why I've become a convert to women in combat. Hey, please be my guest, ladies.
Hey,
I think it should be.
That are in combat roles are tough, man.
I think it should be all female and all transgender. Hey, look, this is the last salvation of white Christian men is get them out of the military. That's the only way we're going to survive as a species.
Have you Google imaged yet transgender troops?
No, I have not.
The 6 men and women, because I can't tell what and who is who.
By the way, on a related note, the Orlando killer? Yeah.
Oh, yes.
Oh, the story about him being, and it's such so
with
odd.
Being gay with Miguel?
Well, in general, using the gay social media apps or gay dating apps, I should say, and all of that. It's funny. So far, no evidence of that. This is what the left wanted to promote. It's so strange. Again, this is where victims groups come into conflict with the left wanted to promote this. This was not radical Islamic terror. This was a spurned lover. This was somebody who wasn't comfortable and wasn't in a safe space where he could express his sexuality. Yeah, there's a chief executive officer of one of the gay chat and dating apps named Jacked.
Mm-hmm. Jacked. That's one. Yeah.
Thank you for the confirmation.
Grindr and Jacked were the two that he was allegedly signed into.
Well, the spokesman said there is no evidence.
Yes.
No evidence that that he was a user of that gay dating app. In addition, the FBI has been unable to confirm any aspect of the story that Miguel gave on the interview he gave on Univision about being a former lover of the Orlando killer. So this whole story about his latent homosexuality being the driver of the terrorist act that he committed, boy, seems to be falling apart. I wonder if we could piece together what it was that actually animated the Orlando killer to massacre 49 people.
Daddy issues.
If there was just some evidence to suggest what may have led up to that, 15 years of being radicalized in a particular religion or something like that, that could be instructive for us. If only we had that information.
Listen to Dan and Amy on your smartphone. Download the AM560 mobile app today at 560theanswer.com/mobile.
Scoundrels are not exclusive to politics. They're smart enough to occupy necessity service industries like the automotive business. As a real estate broker, my car is a lifeline and a total necessity to my business and my family, which is why I had to seek out an honest, truthful auto service provider. For over the past decade, I've put my trust in Craigies Mobile Service Center on Lake Street in Addison. Craigies handles full auto repair on foreign and domestic vehicles. They pride themselves on providing you the best cost-effective auto repair and expert advice. Craigies has full service bays and truck lifts that can service and manage your whole fleet. They also provide priority service for your business and can track each vehicle, alerting you to the repair before you need it, keeping your guys on the road. Since 1959, Craigies Mobile Service Center has thrived through 10 presidential administrations, giving you reputable, dependable, and honest auto repair. Do yourself a favor. Just go into Craigies on Lake Street in Addison. See my guy Vic. He'll set you up. Tell him Sean from Elmwood Park sent you. I approve of this message, unlike the two presidential candidates.
Okay, we're here at CreditRepair.com, the most recognized name in the industry for resolving credit report issues and getting those scores up. With me, I got Aaron. Aaron, there's a lot going on here today.
That's right, Justin. Last year alone, we had over 500,000 calls from people needing help with improving their credit reports.
And no wonder. What you're doing works, right?
It sure does. Our proven process actually can help remove those unfair or inaccurate items from your credit report. And on average, people who have used our service have seen significant improvement in their credit scores month after month.
So when it comes to getting things in life that you really want, like a home, car, or even a new job, the first thing lenders usually look at is credit. So don't let a low credit score hold you back. Call CreditRepair.com today. And so what happens when they call?
Well, when you call, we're actually going to give you a free credit report, a free credit score, and a free evaluation to tell you what's going on right over the phone.
Call CreditRepair.com at 800-231-1735. That's 800-231-1735. 800-231-1735.
You're unique, so why is your mattress one size fits all? Because a custom mattress costs thousands, until now. Hi, I'm Christian von Rickenbach, founder of HelixSleep.com, where you can buy a mattress online, customized for you, for hundreds of dollars instead of thousands. Go to HelixSleep.com, answer a few simple questions, and we build you the most comfortable mattress you'll ever sleep on. Shipping is free, and you have 100 nights to try it out. Go to HelixSleep.com/try now and get $50 off your order. HelixSleep.com/try now.
You don't have to be a retail giant or government agency to be the victim of a costly data breach. If you run a website and collect customer data, your small to mid-sized business is just as likely to be targeted by hackers. The Barracuda Web Application Firewall provides cost-effective instant security against automated and targeted attacks, making this WAF a must-have for your SMB. Reclaim your network. Try a Barracuda Web App Firewall risk-free at barracuda.com/WAF.
AM 560, The Answer.
Coming up on Chicago's Morning Answer.
The VP selection process on both sides is starting to clarify. We'll have it at 8:38.
And Mayor Emanuel did what? We'll explain, but first into the newsroom we go. Here is Mike Scott.
74 degrees. We have sunshine today at 8:31. Investors and policymakers watching Wall Street as the markets stumble into the new week. Following Friday's free fall, Britain's voting to leave the EU. By the time that trading day was over, more than $2 trillion have been wiped off global markets, and there were other drops in Asia and Europe again today. ISIS is out with a new video. The terror group praising the Orlando nightclub shooter and threatening San Francisco and Las Vegas. Orlando Mayor Buddy Dyer says his city is slowly recovering from the worst mass shooting in U.S. history.
We are coping and we're supporting each other. We're not defined by the act of a deranged killer. We're defined by our response, which has been with love and compassion and unity for everybody.
Dyer has been in Indianapolis for the annual meeting of the U.S. Conference of Mayors. Floodwaters receding in parts of West Virginia, but more trouble could be on the way. More rain and flash flood watches. 25 have died. 10 are injured after fighting between neo-Nazis and counter-demonstrators in California. It took place in and around the state capitol in Sacramento. The Supreme Court expected to announce a decision on a Texas abortion law today. There are reports that Texas officials may have withheld some key information from the court. Hillary Clinton will be in Chicago today, the presumptive Democratic presidential nominee, campaigning and then speaking at the 45th Annual Rainbow Push Coalition Convention. Cubs suffer a loss to the Marlins in the finale of a 4-game set in Miami, while the White Sox beat Toronto 5-2. The news, a service of Napa Auto Parts, with more than 400,000 quality auto parts and over 90 years of experience. Napa can help you keep just about anything on the road. So stop by your local Napa Auto Parts store and keep it running longer, stronger with Napa know-how. 8:33 and a check of traffic and weather on the way next on AM 560.
It's Galaxy's free sale. Free installation, free design, and free financing.
773-783-8300. Call Galaxy.
My name is David Hochberg, and I'm Vice President of Lending at Pearl Mortgage. If you're looking to purchase a new home or refinance your existing home, give me a call. Joyce called to lower her rate and pay her loan off in 27 years. I helped Joyce secure a 27-year fixed loan, saved her $45 a month, and paid all her closing costs. $45 a month might not sound like a lot, but Joyce will apply the savings to her new mortgage payment to pay her loan off in 25 years and save her over $20,000 in mortgage payments. I lowered Joyce's rate, payment, and saved her over $20,000 in mortgage payments. If you want to see if I could help you like I helped Joyce, give me a call at 312-751-1333 or visit am560david.com. I've helped thousands of AM 560 listeners, but I can't help if you don't call 312-751-1333 or visit am560david.com. Pearl Mortgage and Equal Housing Lender, Illinois Residential Mortgage License D4358, RMLA, NMLS 19186.
8:35 in our Guardian Security Services Traffic Center. Let's get the latest on the roads with Jim Talamonte.
Thanks, Mike. The Edens is heavy outbound with delays. Montrose to Winnetka Road, 45 minutes. Montrose to Lake Cook, inbound fine at 19. The Kennedy is 40 minutes. O'Hare to downtown, outbound 50. Eisenhower, 55 minutes. Thorndale to the post office, outbound an hour and 5 minutes. There are heavy delays approaching 53. Big delays on northbound 355 and 53 from I-55 moves to the way to Kirchhoff after there was an earlier crash, and southbound it's slow, Dundee to Kirchhoff. On the Stevenson Expressway, the travel time of 50 minutes, 355 to Lakeshore Drive, and outbound it's 40. The Ryan, 21 minutes, 95th to downtown. Tri-State southbound, still sluggish, 21 to 137. Northbound slow, 95th to 31st, and Roosevelt to Grand Avenue. Traffic answers when you need them most. I'm Jim Talamonte on AM 560, The Answer.
We'll keep our eyes on Wall Street for you. The Dow off 185, and seemingly settling a bit in early trading. Chicago's Morning Answer continues next. Your official Chicagoland weather forecast from the aircomfort.com Weather Center on this National Sunglasses Day. Sunny and warm, less humid. You'll need the glasses. High 89. Currently 74. Next news coming up at 9, and Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues next on AM 560, The Answer.
This hourly segment is brought to you by Radio Garden Sense, a show bringing your property's gardening needs alive. Radio Garden Sense, Sunday mornings at 11 on AM 560, The Answer.
Hey, don't be caught without the facts. Listen to me, Sean Hannity, this afternoon at 2, right here on AM 560, The Answer.
Dan and Amy, so who's it going to be? The VP for Hillary, the VP for Trump? It seems to be starting to come into focus with the Republican convention only a few weeks away now. Newt Gingrich was on with Chris Wallace on Sunday, and he was asked if he had been contacted, if he's being vetted for Trump's running mate, and here was his response.
Here's my question this time. Are you being vetted? You have not submitted any information.
No, nobody's called me. Nobody said, would you like to be? Nobody said, would you be willing to be considered? Nobody said anything.
Well, given the fact that we're 3 weeks away, what does that say to you?
He's probably going to start thinking about it about 2 days before Cleveland.
Are you serious?
Yes, I think Donald Trump does not want to make a decision until the convention. I think that he's a very decisive person. And in the case of a few of us, I'm an example, there's not much vetting to do.
So it's interesting because at first you think, oh, well, Gingrich is not on the short list then, but the way he answered it and Gingrich's own expectations about how Trump will make this decision suggests that he may still at least hope he's under consideration. Your thoughts? I know we've got this contest going on.
Oh, yes, our Veep stakes.
Oh, but that's over now. So you missed your chance to enter. So we can talk about it without giving anything away. Not that we know anything; it's all supposition. But who do you think Trump should pick as his VP running mate? Who do you think he's going to pick? I think it's clear that some people are out of the running. 312-642-5600 turnkey.pro answer line. So, for example, I don't think John Kasich. I think John Kasich would be a good pick.
But he's out of the running.
I don't think he's going to be the pick. I don't think that's going to happen.
He might not even go to the convention. It's in his own backyard.
Well, yes, but being offered the vice presidential nomination, sometimes changes people's opinions. That has happened before.
Okay, I'm just saying.
I think Kasich, that's not going to happen.
Marco Rubio's not going to happen.
Marco Rubio.
Did I just say Mark?
Yeah.
Marco Rubio.
Well, now that he's running for re-election, that seems unlikely. Who do you think it's? Yes, Amy.
Excuse me.
Raising your hand, Amy in the back.
Pick me.
Yeah.
I'd like to say I think Ben Carson is going to end up being his running mate.
No.
Okay. Thank you. I had a feeling you'd say that.
Well,
very snarkily, very shut me down quickly.
Well,
no. But he has no foreign policy experience.
Well, can we rewind a little bit and remember? I mean, I don't necessarily take what Trump says at face value, but he has said he wants somebody with federal government experience.
Right.
He wants somebody that has been involved in passing legislation because that is not his area of expertise inside the Beltway, of course.
Yeah, he wants a politician.
Well, right. Well, yeah, somebody that's been a federal office holder. And here's a dark horse candidate for you.
All right. Is this what your sources told you over the weekend?
I'm just saying it's a dark horse candidate.
So this is what your sources told you over the weekend?
Indiana Governor Mike Pence.
Oh.
Now there's some attributes and there's a complication. The complication, let's start with that. He's up for re-election this fall.
Mm-hmm.
But you could backfill his slot. And I don't know if Indiana law allows him to run for VP with, be on a VP, be the VP on a presidential slate as well as run for re-election as governor. But let's say he could do it and he would backfill the position. There's other talented Republicans in Indiana that could rise to the level of governor, perhaps. But Mike Pence, remember, before he was elected to Indiana governor, he was a member of Congress.
Oh, that's right.
So he's got both the executive experience as governor.
Mm-hmm.
He's got the legislative experience as a congressman. He is a conservative across the board. He's social conservative, pretty well spoken, pretty a guy who kind of colors with inside the lines for the most part. Actually, a background in radio. He was a radio talk show host in Indiana for a while.
Wow.
It was hope for us all.
Yeah.
This
is good for you. But here's the main
that's a dark
question.
horse for me.
But here's the question: does he want that position?
I think if he was offered it, he'd take it. And
Really?
and here's something else. Remember Mike Pence in Indiana. Remember Indiana was going to be Ted Cruz's firewall. He was going to win Indiana, and this was going to continue on. Of course, that didn't happen. And Mike Pence was reticent to endorse anyone. It wasn't like Wisconsin where you had the governor roll in and everybody in the Indiana Republican power structure consolidated around Ted Cruz. It was all very tepid, and Mike Pence treaded very lightly when it came to Trump versus Cruz. Ultimately, in the 11th hour, he endorsed Ted Cruz.
Yeah, but he just shook his hand outside of his house, and it was a photo op, and he never did an interview.
Well, but he didn't. He did interviews on Cruz, but he never said anything negative about Trump. And so I think and Pence is an ambitious guy. He had been trying to align himself to replace Mitch Daniels after Mitch Daniels served a second term limited in Indiana, for some time while he was a member of Congress. So yeah, I could see Pence. Now, there's some other names out there, and there's our colleague Hugh Hewitt has suggested Trump should consider Mia Love, a freshman Republican congressman from Utah. Brian Sandoval, the governor of Nevada, that could make some sense. Governor, Latino, judge, prior to being elected governor. But I think you should watch Mike Pence on the Republican side. Joanne in Schaumburg, you're on Chicago's Morning Answer.
Hello?
Hi, Joanne.
Hi, is this Dan?
This is.
Haven't talked to you since you hosted that NATO thing several years ago.
Oh, okay.
But I wanted to make a suggestion that I have been thinking about, and other friends of mine have said the same thing. K.T. McFarland for vice president.
Yeah, I think it's too one-dimensional. I think KT is great. Obviously, we're big fans here. I think she's part of the
A cabinet member.
ideally
I
a
would
the
put her-
foreign policy team, or maybe a national security advisor, something like that.
But she brings a woman to the ticket, Dan, a highly articulate woman,
Oh,
well-spoken.
Yeah. No, I agree.
well-versed in many areas, not just foreign policy, but other areas also.
Thanks for the call, Joanne. I mean, I agree. I mean, I'm a big KT McFarland fan, but I just that it's going to be perceived as too one-dimensional, and her expertise really is in the foreign policy arena. It's at the exclusion of the domestic policy arena. Legislative experience, I think, or executive experience, one of those two things is going to be important. Political, legislative, or executive experience, I think one of those two things is going to be important for the Trump ticket because it's going to have to be a deadly serious choice.
Yeah, well,
it can't be another wild card.
Right, and on the Democratic side, quickly.
Democrat side.
Democrat side. Did I say Democratic? Democrat side. I'm sorry.
Pocahontas.
Pocahontas. Yeah, she's teaming up with Hillary. They're giving her a little trial run today. They're campaigning together in the critical state of Ohio. They're going to be in Cincinnati, Ohio, and they see this as a, just a trying out, just a little courting period to see if the two ladies can work together.
Shrill and shriller. I mean, seriously, just when you that would be a very interesting ticket. I think it would be. I don't think it would work out well for Hillary, so I'm all for it. This Elizabeth Warren has this great capacity, and she'll bring in those resistant Bernie Sanders supporters, and that will crest Hillary to the presidency. I'm not so sure at all about that. Elizabeth Warren. Let me tell you what I think would happen to Elizabeth Warren. The more you see her and listen to her, the less you're going to like her because she is very shrill and nasty and moralizing, and she's a bit of a one-note Sally, too, when it comes to Wall Street.
And she's going to be the attack dog on Donald Trump, constantly fighting him on Twitter and in public.
Text from 773 earlier in the show. Got to repeat this because this would be great. I think this is how you'd brand it. If it was Hillary and Elizabeth Warren, grumpy old menopause.
Oh, hey.
That's pretty good.
That is good.
Pretty good. Thank you, 773. Roger in Bolingbrook. Hi, Roger.
Hi. I just wanted to make a comment. Does really anybody want to be Donald Trump's running mate? I see no surrogates from the Senate or the House on any TV program. He has a lot of people that are like columnists, conservative columnists, but no surrogates from the House or the Senate. Why is that there?
Yeah, I mean, thanks for the call, Roger. I mean, look, it's a small group, I'd say, but there are people that have endorsed Trump. I mean, Jeff Sessions, for example, the senator from Alabama, endorsed him and has been a surrogate for Trump on these shows. There are members of Congress members of the House that have done so as well. But you're right. I think there's a lot of people that are kind of keeping their head down, even if they voice support for Trump, because it's nitroglycerin right now, and they want to see a more stable candidate before they feel comfortable offering full-throated defenses even as surrogates for Trump. I think that's a fair point.
At the end of the day, Donald Trump is still Donald Trump, and he cannot control himself in certain situations. And I think that's what turns people off, like Lindsey Graham, and of course Mitch McConnell, who's out there saying that he's not qualified to run for president.
Do you believe he's qualified? And how do you convince all those voters who think he isn't?
Well, look, I think there's no question that he's made a number of mistakes over the last few weeks. I think they're beginning to right the ship. It's a long time until November, and the burden obviously will be on him to convince people that he can handle this job.
I didn't hear you say whether you thought he was qualified.
Look, that'll be up to the American people to decide.
I mean, we need some party unity here.
Yeah,
we need to get people like
not having Mitch McConnell in your corner is a feature for Donald Trump, not a bug.
And Mark Kirk's not in his corner either.
Yeah.
Ooh.
So kind of the Republicans that want everybody to fall in line when they undermine the party, who are not falling in line for Donald Trump, don't have real moral standing on the topic. I don't think anybody's looking to Mitch McConnell for leadership on the issue of who to vote for. I think that this is the inside the Beltway media loves to obsess about this because these are the people they talk to. I don't think voters give a rat's behind what Mitch McConnell thinks about just about anything. But he's right about one thing, that it is Trump's responsibility to present a unified front. It is Trump's responsibility to get a quality running mate, to present a attractive ticket, to run a good campaign, to stay on message and be focused with what he's doing. Those are Trump's responsibilities as the nominee. There's no question about that. I just think you have to distinguish kind of who's endorsing him, who's voting for him but not endorsing him. All this kind of minutia of the Beltway, I just think, is largely immaterial. I also think that with respect to Hillary, both of them have so many needs. You could go a lot of different directions with a VP. I also don't think there is, but once you get past Warren and Tim Kaine and a couple of others, I don't think there's a line around the block to be Hillary's running mate either. And the other thing, frankly, the Democrats don't have nearly as deep a bench as Republicans do. So there are more opportunities potentially for Trump. Scott on the West Side.
Hey, Dan, thanks for taking my call. Dan, once again, you're brilliant, and I totally agree with you that the establishment's not going to endorse Trump, and I really could care less. But you can bet that when he does choose a running mate, and no matter who it is, that they will gladly run with him, even if it is an establishment type. That they'll embrace Trump at that point, and right now they're not going to support him, and I don't think it matters.
Thanks for the call, Scott, and for your correct assessment of my brilliance.
The stories you need to know to start your day. This is Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560. The Answer.
Wait until you hear what Mayor Emanuel did. But first, here's your forecast. Plenty of sunshine today, humid, a high of 88 degrees. And then tonight, we're going to partly cloudy skies, a low of 61. And tomorrow, I think you can turn off that AC and open up the windows. We're going to have plenty of sunshine, a few patchy clouds, but a lot cooler, a high of 72 degrees. Any high travel times on the roadways? Here's Jim Telemonte with the answer.
On Amy, going out of Chicago more so than inbound. The Edens outbound really heavy this morning. Stop and go all the way out to Dundee. It's 47 minutes. Montrose to Lake Cook. Inbound fine at 19. The Kennedy, 45 minutes. O'Hare to downtown. Outbound 50 minutes. The Eisenhower, 55 minutes. Thorndale to the post office. Outbound an hour and 10 minutes. Stevenson, 55 minutes, 355 to Lakeshore Drive, outbound 40. The Ryan, 21 minutes, 95th to downtown. Northbound Veterans Memorial, stop and go, 75th to the Reagan Tollway, then from the Army Trail Toll up to Kirchhoff on 53, where there was an earlier crash, and southbound it's stop and go from around Dundee to Kirchhoff. Northbound Tri-State traffic is still heavy from around Archer to the Hinsdale Oasis. There's a crash on the left shoulder, then Roosevelt to Grand Avenue. I'm Jim Talamonte in the Guardian Security Services Traffic Center.
Signature Bank is Chicago's fastest growing independently owned business bank. It's a bank where relationships still matter. Signature Bank knows your name and your story. I'm Dan Proft, and I know this because Signature Bank is my business bank.
I'm Mark Weingart, President and CEO of Star Creations, Inc., the fastest growing supplier of wall decor products in the U.S. When it comes to banking, I don't want to be a small fish in a big pond. That's why I bank at Signature Bank Chicago. At Signature Bank, every customer is important. I know I can pick up the phone and talk to any one of the decision makers I know and trust at Signature Bank. At Signature Bank, they understand and respond to the unique needs of my business with flexibility and fairness. I'm proud to bank with Signature Bank because I know they're deeply invested in the success of Star Creations.
Signature Bank is looking for their next success story. Learn more about turning your business vision into reality. Visit signature-bank.com. Signature Bank, helping local businesses succeed. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
Congratulations to all who took the Balance of Nature New Year's Challenge. Success stories are pouring in. So many people have been helped through this incentive that I have asked Balance of Nature to continue this challenge for as long as possible.
I'll tell you what, this stuff is great. I haven't gotten sick. Everybody around me is coming down with that laryngitis, and it seems like it's all over the country. It's like a respiratory tract infection, and people lose their voice, and then it goes away, and then it comes back like 2 weeks later, and it's worse. I teach in a school. Half the teachers here, are sick. They're miserable, and I haven't gotten sick, and I swear it's this stuff. It's this fruits and veggies I'm taking.
Good health is just a phone call away. What are you waiting for? Call now and take the health challenge to get a free month's supply of Balance of Nature. Call 1-800-2468-751. That's 1-800-2468-751. Or go online to balanceofnature.com. Use promo code CHICAGO.
If you love The Hunt, this is for you. I'm talking about The Hunt for special antique collectibles, furniture, art, and decorative items that make your home sweet home special. A place where you'll discover Chicago's best-kept treasures. Northwest Treasure and sister store, Home on the Highway, are just a block apart on Northwest Highway on Chicago's northwest side. In addition to an amazing selection of antique collectibles and furniture with a mid-century modern focus, you'll find vintage jewelry, decorative items, art, and loads of man cave. Mention AM560 and receive a 10% discount on your first purchase. Northwest Treasure and Home on the Highway are conveniently located at 6122 and 6217 Northwest Highway in Chicago, close to Chicago's nicest neighborhoods and Park Ridge. And there's plenty of free parking. Call Northwest Treasure and Home on the Highway, home of Chicago's best-kept treasures, at 773-774-6353. For more information, call 773-774-7653.
AM 560, The Answer.
Okay, so...
Well, wait, real quick. Baltimore.
Oh, yes.
You know how we're the Mosby, the Baltimore DA, unsuccessfully persecuting police officers? Well, good news out of Baltimore. The federal government is successfully prosecuting criminals like Donta Betts, age 20, who, during the riots after the Freddie Gray incident, burned down a CVS.
Oh, that's right.
And looted, attacked police. Just got sentenced on Friday to 15 years.
She did. That's great. Good for her. She's doing her job. Now, I'm going to tell you.
No.
The federal government
not
is
Mosby.
doing their job.
Oh, yes,
She's
right,
not
yes.
doing her
Correct.
job.
Yes.
So that's a win from that. And there's 4 more police officers who have to go.
4 more acquittals.
Well, you say acquittals. But you know what? The one that I thought was going to be prosecuted was not. And that was the driver of the van. And now I have
he was prosecuted. He was just acquitted.
Acquitted, right. But now I have to get Edward James Olmos on this program because I
make out with him.
Making out with him. No, you're making out with him. Didn't you hear?
Yeah, I'd be happy to. Captain Adamo, Battlestar Galactica. I'd be happy to.
All right, speaking of stars, because Mayor Emanuel considers himself pretty much a star, drops the line, sometimes don't you know who I am? Well, he has a second home in Michigan. I'm not going to say where, to protect people who live there.
New Buffalo.
No, maybe.
Union Pier.
I don't know.
Yeah, Union Pier.
Three Oaks. I don't know. Anywho, so he was on the beach, and everybody that lives in this association needs to have a flag to sit in this, this exclusive area on the beach. It's where all the residents of the neighborhood live. And there's this guy who looks like a mall cop.
Paul Blart.
He looks exactly like Paul Blart. He has an outfit on, too. It's kind of a little disheveled. Shirt's not really tucked in. There's some crumbs on the shirt, but he is very good at his job. He'll go up to anybody and say, "Where's your flag?" And if you don't have a flag, you've got to go get your flag or you're out of the beach.
I was wondering where Gary McCarthy went.
So this is true because I confirmed it with the security guy. He went up to Rahm two weekends ago because Rahm didn't have his little flag. And he said, "Where's your flag?" And Rahm looks and goes, "Come on, I'm not going all the way back up there." And he said, "You need your flag or you have to leave the beach." And Rahm looks at him and says, "Don't you know who I am?" And he said, "Yeah, I know who you are. You're going to be treated like everybody else on this beach. Go get your flag."
I love that security guard, and I love the fact that he buried him in the sand after that.
You've made the switch, and it feels so good. You switched to Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560, The Answer.
When I hear realtors boast about servicing a 3-county area or selling a home every 15 minutes, I think, what level of service could their clients possibly be getting? This is Chris Jacobs with Century 21 affiliated in Inverness, and my message is a little bit different. If being a realtor for more than 20 years has taught me one thing, it's that all real estate is local. While I can't say I'm the #1 realtor in the country, I can tell you that over the past 10 years, I've sold more homes in Inverness than anyone else. My team specializes in Inverness, Palatine, and Arlington Heights. We pride ourselves on providing our clients exceptional customer service and local market knowledge. So if you're selling your home or looking to purchase a property in our area, then call me, Chris Jacobs, at 847-401-4859. That's 847-401-4859. Or visit us at chrisjacobshomes.com.
Each office independently owned and operated, an equal housing opportunity.
Safer USA, Chicago's most trusted name in firearm training, is offering beginners classes, tactical pistol and rifle, long-range rifle to 600 yards, and the most comprehensive Illinois concealed carry program available. AM 560 On Target Radio co-hosts David Lombardo and Gretchen Fritz will prepare you to carry a firearm for personal protection, including firearm, holster, and ammunition selection. A comprehensive law review designed to keep you out of trouble and even how to deal with home invasions. Firearm, ammunition, holster, class notebook, and lunch are provided. Safer USA and the Aurora Sportsman's Club invites you to participate in this one-of-a-kind Illinois concealed carry program that also qualifies you for Florida, Utah, and Arizona non-resident permits. Find out what over 6,000 students already know at saferusa.com.
Or call 815-741-3474. That's 815-741-3474. Safer USA. Choosing to own a firearm is your business. Teaching you to own it responsibly is ours.
AM 560, The Answer.
I got to tell you, Amy, that David Hasselhoff quality beach security guard.
Isn't he great?
He's my employee of the month. I love that guy.
I didn't even ask him. I said, aren't you afraid you might lose your job? And he said, no, they gave me rules. Without rules, there's chaos, and I'm in charge.
Especially enforcing him against little tiny dancer. Oh, is that great?
He went to get the flag, by the way. Thanks so much for making us part of your Monday morning. We're back here at 5 a.m. Now into the newsroom we go. Here is Mike Scott.
Amy and Dan, Hillary Clinton in town today, campaigning and then speaking at Rainbow Push. Chicago police searching for two suspected of robbing a person outside the Trump Hotel. Two shot in Chicago by an off-duty Cook County deputy. And the Real ID compliance bill will be signed by Illinois Governor Bruce Rauner. Marlins beat the Cubs. Chris Sale still the best pitcher in town and a mostly sunny day. WIND Chicago News Time, 9 o'clock.
This is a Fox News alert. I'm Dave Anthony. What Britons did at the polls keeps affecting our 401ks. There's more selling on Wall Street after that British vote to leave the
It is. Hello.
Are we still interested for
Friends of the Park?
Yeah, Friends of the Park.
No, you got
No.
Okay.
Supreme Court abortion ruling today.
Oh yeah, there's that, and the former governor of Virginia, his case is in front of them too.
McDonald.
Those two, McDonald.
SCOTUS person then?
No, we need a pro-life person. Okay. Pro-life. Let's see if you can get Helen Alvare.
Okay.
Chicago.